gentlemen, welcome back to the Ben Kadel live stream. Introducing your astounding, handsome, funny, and entirely modest host, Ben Kadel. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those evenings, everybody. I spent far too long thinking of that, and then I even stuffed it up with the lines. Welcome back to the live stream, everybody. Thank you very much. The applause in the chat. Thank you very much, Patrice. Welcome back to the live stream. This is part 2 of currently 2, but it could go crazy long. Who knows? Depends how lazy and poorly performing I am in coding. But anyway, welcome back. If you are joining us here tonight for the first time, then do not worry. In a minute, I'm going to take you through a recap of everything we did last session, just really quick, sort of get us all up to speed. I've got my code open on the screen, which I'll share in a second. We got the doodle pad ready to doodle. We got the dope-ass mic. We got the big old light. We even have, what's the new thing today? I forgot. Oh, no, there was something, but I sacked it off because it was too much effort, so forget that. But yeah, welcome back. Let's get into it. Let's start talking a little bit about what on earth it is we're going to do here. And explain the process as it's going to happen. So, first of all, welcome. We are doing, in this live stream, we are doing a little app. We are making an Android app from scratch. At least it was from scratch last session. This time we'll be carrying on where we left off. We are making a recipe list app. So, you know, the bog standard, hey, here's a bunch of dishes. Click on one, this is how you cook it kind of thing. But the exciting part, or hopefully the exciting part, is that we're using something called Jetpack Compose for our UI part of the app. So traditionally in Android, we'd use XML, boring. We're using the new sexy Jetpack Compose. Not only that, we're using something called Dagger Hilt, which is a dependency injection framework. Don't worry, we'll come back to that in just a second, what's going on, but hopefully that's exciting to some of you. And the final piece of the puzzle is the sort of the architecture choice, which is MVVM. But again, we'll talk about that in a second. So that's what we're doing. Let's talk about this session, because we're going to pick it up. I want to cap it at 2 hours. Last time it went for about 2.5. I didn't really have an end time in mind. This time, 2 hours and I'm done. Whatever I get done. If I don't finish, guess what? There'll be a part 3. And we're gonna have loads of mic crash zooms and close mic encounters again. And yes, that's basically the session. One very important thing that I know that everybody, the only reason that people are even here for is this book, right? This joke book. This joke book last time saved the stream, and I'm so grateful to you all for participating. But basically, this is a book full to the brim of arguably terrible jokes. And what I'm asking you to do, the wonderful audience, the beautiful people in the chat, in your seats, just relaxing, is all I want you to do is type a page number, page whatever, right? And in fact, page from 1 to, I think it's 288 or something like that, 280, just to be safe. Just type that in the chat, and at some point when I see it, I'll pop this book open, read your terrible joke, and we'll all enjoy it together. Because that's what this is all about, isn't it, really? Togetherness. Okay, so with that in mind, app, jokes, I want your questions, right? I really want your questions. Again, if you're watching this after the live stream is finished, then hello, welcome. Thank you for lending me your eyes and ears. Hopefully this will be interesting and entertaining and educational. If you haven't already seen the first part, I'd recommend doing that, sort of to be caught up to what we're doing. But if you are live, if you're here right now in the chat, like my friend Patrice, like Vivek, like Nala, like Dan, these wonderful people, and in fact more people that haven't messaged in the chat. Iram, I think it is Iram as well. If you're here live, then guess what? You got me. You got a little slice of Ben Kadel, So what? Other than sounding horrendously big-headed and egotistical, which is accurate, the point of it is that you have me and you can ask me anything. I want your questions in the chat. We've already got one question that was fired straight in before we went live that I'm going to answer straight away in a second. But if you've got questions about Android development, about my job, about anything really, I guess. I'm not very good on probably 99% of topics, but feel free to ask me and I'll try my best to answer them. There are no wrong questions. Really, this is a safe space. There's no wrong questions. If you're a brand new beginner, then this is the space for you. If you're an advanced person, then this is the space for you as well. There's no wrong questions. Right. Let me just catch up with the chat a little bit. We've already got one question, which I'm going to come to in a second. Patrice has asked for page 23 already in the joke book, so Patrice is top of the list. Dan came swooping in with page 13, so I'm going to write 13 on this piece of paper. Dan, and the next time we do jokes after Patrice's, then we'll come to that. And we even got a second question. Let's do the 2 questions real quick first, get them done, and then we'll go into the code, we'll go into jokes, we'll just have a good old time. Sound good? I mean, yeah, I can't hear your responses, but I assume you're all going, yes, Ben, yes, that sounds great. Here we go. First question, right at the top of the chat. If you can scroll your chats up, then it's right there if you want to follow along with me. Kevin asked a little while ago, I hope you're still here, Kevin. Hello. Time for your question. He wrote, I'm almost giving up on Android native. How do you learn the hard concepts until you become a senior Android developer? Now, that is a huge question, but a really, really good one. Essentially, it boils down to native is difficult, and he's struggling with it. How do you get past the big sort of learning curve hurdle of native app development? And I assume, with the aim of progressing your own career, with the aim of development. That's a really great question. I'm afraid the answer is probably a really boring one, but it is the answer. And it's practice, right? Practice and learning. First of all, let's talk about the learning. I am an avid YouTube watcher. Let me just scroll this chat down. An avid YouTube watcher. So I watch all the really big YouTube channels. Let me just name a couple so you can also go and follow them. Coding in Flow. Oh, Florian, his name is. He does amazing Android videos on every area, especially the hard concepts. We're talking about like the Dagger, the dependency injection, how to, fragments, activities, life cycles, MVVM stuff. Oh, Coding in Flow. Go check that out. It will really help the learning. Philip Lackner. That guy is amazing, incredible. Again, brilliant videos of Android across the spectrum. And he's even like the most recent one, which is brilliant, about how to publish your own like Android library, which is brilliant. And everybody needs to know that. Well, everybody should want to know that. Again, Philip Lackner. Go follow these people. And Coding with Mitch is another good one. Coding with Mitch is amazing. Again, just really sort of detailed, proper best practices, clean architecture kind of videos. So not only are you learning, but you're learning the best practices as you go. Those are 3 channels I'd absolutely recommend. Books are brilliant in the Android world. There's some really great ones. I don't have one next to me, but there's ones about like how to use Android Studio properly. I'll try and come up with a couple of more recommendations because that's not great of me just to say books and run away. And then internet articles. So one of the best ways that I learn about things, especially like the weird sort of quirky topics in particular, is through like Medium posts. And there's a great website called proandroiddev.com. And it is basically, one of them like Medium style sites. And people post Android articles to them every day. There's 2 or 3 articles every day on there that are amazing. Really cool, niche stuff as well, often in there. And then the final bit is Android documentation on the Google website. It's phenomenal. It used to be garbage. It used to be utter garbage. But sorry, Google. I do love you. But now it is quality. And they have something called Code Labs, which is basically an interactive tutorial, as though you were in like university with a lecturer and they give you a code base and they say, do this, this, and this. It's that. Code Labs are amazing, and they cover every single topic of Android development world. Now, I've babbled on a buttload there. So that's the learning part. The other part is practice. Like, you can only become a good developer, a senior developer, if you like, by practice. Picking up different code bases, having a look, getting involved. But the question you're probably asking yourself right now is, how on earth do I get code bases that will help me progress? And that's a really great question. First things first, I'm going to link it after the fact, I guess, but there's a video that I actually made, sorry to plug myself, called How to Contribute to a Repo or something like that. How to find a Git repo for you, like relevant ones to you. And that will help you get on GitHub and narrow down some repositories that you can just join into, like beginner ones or advanced ones, all sorts of stuff like that. Not only are you practicing, becoming a better developer, but you're observing other people's code. And that is one of the most important things. From when I was actually in the industry to when I was doing my own side project codes before the industry, the coding styles are entirely different. These are 2 different worlds. So the more code bases you can see, The more chances that you'll get sort of like industry standard ones, and the more things you'll become immersed to, more practice, right? Thank you, Kevin, for the great question. I hope that helped. Obviously, the career progression is just by like starting as a sort of entry-level Android developer or mid-level, whatever, and working your way up. But with the constant willingness to learn, constant digestion of articles and information, participating in the community as well. Like some of these amazing conferences. In fact, DroidCon is coming up on the 20th of October in Berlin. I'm actually speaking at it, but we'll talk about that in a second. These are great ways to get involved. So I hope that answers the question. Let me just dive back to the chat really quickly. So we got Vivek, hello. We got Aram, I think it is. Akshay, sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. Rahul Pandey is very good. Ooh, yeah. Sorry, Aram just said Rahul Pandey is an incredible human being. I think he's a lecturer at something like Stanford or something like that. But his videos are quality, and not only does he do like educational pieces, but he does like interviews as well with different people from the industry. So he gets a lot of insight that's really powerful. Yeah, so definitely Rahul Pandey. In fact, if you've got other suggestions that I haven't mentioned, I'd love to know them as well, chat. So dump them in the chat. Louis is back. Hello, Louis. Good, sir. Welcome. Samira, I've already booked my ticket for DroidCon Berlin. So excited. See you there. Samira, on Wednesday the 20th, day 1, at, I think it's 11:40 in room 1. Come see me. Do you know why? Because I'm presenting. I'm speaking at DroidCon Berlin about about Jetpack Compose. So Samira, glad you booked your ticket. Come see me. Stage 1, room 1, whatever it is. Yeah, see you there. Right. So to go back to the list, I have 23. For those of you who just joined me, if you're wondering what I'm on about with numbers, we have this wonderful joke book. Simply post a number in the chat from 1 to about 280, and I'll read you a joke. Patrice posted the number ages ago. I'm sorry this has taken me so long, Patrice. 23. Let's just jump into this really quickly, and then we'll get code in. We'll do some other questions. Here we go. 23 is the babies section. So here we go. This is for you, Patrice. Let me get cozy. In fact, let's have a little... Oh, the camera almost went. Let's have a little crash zoom for this one. Even closer. Awkwardly close, like here. This is terrible. Why did the pregnant woman eat a rubber? She wanted a bouncing baby. I don't know if you heard me. She ate a rubber because she wanted a bouncing baby. I promise, after this live stream is done, not this one, but the whole season of it, this is getting burnt. This is getting sacrificed to the fiery pits of hell. Thank you for that, Patrice, page 23, bouncing babies. Okay, there was one more question that came in, and Dan, I've got your page 13 here ready in my mind on my piece of paper. I'm going to do some coding and come back to it. But let me get this question out of the way first quickly. Sorry, oh my gosh, I can't say. Akshay, apologies if I'm mispronouncing that. Please let me know if the correct way to pronounce it. He says, hi, is MVVM a design pattern? MVVM, from what I understand, because I might butcher this, is a architecture pattern, an architecture design pattern. I don't know if the word design comes into there, but it's an architecture pattern, a choice of how you architect your apps in terms of what goes in what file, how the files are split, how they're organized, all that kind of stuff. And MVVM stands for model, view, ViewModel. And that's essentially the separation that you should architecturally separate your app into sort of model data, into a view area, and into a ViewModel area, essentially. The three shouldn't be tightly coupled. One should not depend on the other, but they can interact. So ViewModel can send data to the view. The ViewModel doesn't care how the view presents it or displays it, but the view receives it and knows what to do with it. And that is an architecture design pattern. I'm pretty sure it's architecture design pattern, the full thing. But yeah, great question. Right then. Let's check let's just do the chat. I'm sorry, this is taking me ages. Your stream reminds me of the Coding Train stream. Coding Train is amazing. So Coding Train is a wonderful dude, and he has this like a train whistle as well, and he's like toot, toot. Brilliant. But he's like a JavaScript developer, Node and JavaScript developer, and he does a lot of really high energy videos that I'm a big fan of, Vivek. So yeah, thank you for saying that. and he teaches you about like JS, but also he has this thing called P5JS, and I don't know how deeply involved he is with that, but it's like a rendering engine, like a UI rendering. Sorry, not UI. It's like a rendering engine in JavaScript. So you can do games in P5JS, or you could do like cool, quirky things with cool UI as well. Dan, no worries. Already know a joke from page 13 from last stream. Dan, do you? Did we do page 13 last time? Daniel, I assume it's Daniel. I'm sorry, Daniel. Do you want to pick another number, Dan? You don't have to. I can do another one, and I'll probably recognize the joke. But if you want to. If you really want to, you go for it. You just put another number. I'll ignore 13. It's totally your call. Let's go to the IDE. Let's go. No, Dan is firm in his choice. Yes, no. Let's go to the IDE. This is. Watch this transition, everybody. Just check this out. Are you ready? Check this out. 3, 2, 1. So stupid. I spent way too long on that. Dan has kept 13. Brilliant. Okay, so for folks that are just joining me, we are 15-ish minutes into the stream. Just a quick recap. I'm capping at 2 hours tonight. If you want to hear a joke from this god-awful book, then post a page number from 1 to 280 in the chat. Get involved. Give me your questions. We've already had two amazing questions in the chat. So please ask away. I'm here. I'll answer them. I don't care what it is. I'll answer it. But for now, let's look at some code. Let's get back into it. And let's start with a recap of what we did last time, because my memory is about as good as a fish. And I can't even remember. Anyway, so let's go back through this together. I'm just going to move the ID over here. Again, please remind me, yell at me in the chat if this text here is not big enough for you to read at certain moments in time. Please, 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 just yell. Oh, Vivek, yes. In fact, I'm going to come on to that in a minute. Vivek, remind me that later if I forget. But yes, Vivek has written, I contributed to your repo regarding navigation. Thanks for opening the issue. Contributed to my repo. What does that mean? And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Please remind me if I forget. But I want to just remember the words Hacktoberfest and this repo in particular. We'll come back to that. Thank you, Vivek. And please remind me in about half an hour if you're still here and if I've not mentioned anything. Let us recap the code. So here on the left is a current running version of what we did last session. This is all we've got. We've got a screen that displays different categories. Now, it's not just that. When you load this screen, let's just kill it and reopen it. Where's it gone? Disher, here you are. It makes a network request to this wonderful API just behind it called the mealdb. And what we were going to do is we're going to get the categories first of all. That's the data you're seeing in front of you on the phone there. And from the categories, we're then going to get the user to click on this. It doesn't do anything if I click and tap. It doesn't do anything yet, but we're going to make it happen. And after that, we're going to then go to the next API call, which is filter. And we're going to filter by category, so the category that the user selects, to get another set of data. So that's nice, okay? But that's not what we did last session. What we did is this. We set up our code base. We put in the dependencies that you can see here on screen. We added Hilt, the dependency injection framework that's built on top of Dagger, which really helps. I'm not going to go into dependency injection, what it is again. If you're interested, watch last week's video, last live stream, because I think I do a huge explanation, and we haven't the time this time, but it's really useful and important. I added retrofit dependencies, which basically is the library that lets us make API calls, lets us make network requests to the mealdb. I added this coil compose library, which lets me render network images. So images that I haven't got access to that are at some URL, like these images here, it lets me render those with like one line of code. It's dope. We have a main activity, and this main activity simply, for now, loads the category screen. We can see that there. The category screen, if I zoom on in, let's close that side panel there. The category screen has a category view model, and this is important for later. So sorry, just pausing for a second because Louis asked a question. He's been on last stream and I spoke about view states. Could you implement it in the Disher app? Yes. I think we'll do some of that today. possibly towards the end of the stream. I want to get at least second screen done, then we'll go to the view states and sort of beef it up. Aram says, in what situations will it be ideal to use a surface composable? Ooh, nice question. So surface, let's just, in fact, before I carry on the recap, let's get some surface in here. Surface. Oh my God, it's just trying to bring in, I just want that one. Leave me alone. Oh, okay. What's happening? What have you done to me, Aram? Here we go. Surface. I'm going to command click on surface because I'm going to honestly just say that I'm not entirely sure. It's just a generic surface, a place to hold things that has a background color is a good place for a surface. Here we go. So yeah, it's a material design surface. So it's a place that genuinely has a background color. So perhaps these cards you could think of as surfaces, but they are material design cards. Maybe the place behind the cards is a surface. It's something that isn't transparent. It's got a background. You put things on top of it. Yeah. There are surfaces responsible for all of these things. Let me zoom on in. Oh, it's not zooming the notes for some reason. There we go. If you want to have a surface, is a central metaphor in the design system. Each surface exists at a given elevation. So you can put elevations on surfaces and get these like little drop shadow things, these shadowy effects. Yeah, if no content color is set, the surface will try and match its background color, blah, 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 blah. Basically, long story short, I'm not entirely sure is my real answer, but a very good guess looking at what the data is composed of. It's essentially an elevatable place to put other things on top of, and you give it a color, and see it has a default color here of material, theme, colors, surface, and so on. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. It probably didn't answer the question very well, Aram. I apologize about that. But you know what? I'll have a little dive into that and have a look and get you a better answer next time, or maybe a little bit later. We'll have a look. Cool. Right then, let's crack on with the recap. So we, when the screen loads, when this composable loads, the view model is also loaded. And zoom in, and on the init block, so on the initialization block of this view model, it goes away and it calls the use case. The use case is here, the get categories use case, and it uses one of these fancy invoke functions. That's how I'm able to do, just calling this class, this instance of a class with open and close brackets. That's a really weird syntax, but it's made possible because of this invoke. It's an operator invoke function, and if you you override the invoke function, then you can just do open close brackets as though you were invoking it, you were triggering it. Anyway, so the view model calls the get use case. The use case over here has a reference to the repository, which calls inside the repository get all categories. We're going to zoom in here, and the repository calls the service get all categories, and right at the end of the chain we have a retrofit API call. It's a get request to the categories API, which again you can see right here there. Okay, so that's the rough of it. The other part that we did, other than setting up the screen, the category screen, and all the layers down, the view model, the use case, the repository, the service, we also set up our dependency injection, and we started with this app module file that really I should split out. Maybe I'll do that in a second because it's got everything in it. The app module is a Dagger Hilt thing. It's a description, a recipe of how I can create dependencies, so that Dagger Hilt knows how to provide dependencies, so that I don't need to create an instance of, for example, retrofit every time I want it and pass it to the function or pass it to the class. It just does it for me, and auto magically we get some dependencies injected. It's a really powerful pattern. If you're interested more about that, please head to the last video because I set all this up and I explain it. But I set up the dependency injection. We provide retrofit instance with that URL to the mealdb. I provide the service so we can make API requests, and I bind the repository and the use case to their interfaces respectively. Okay, and that is where we're at. So there was a really quick recap. If anybody has any questions, either they weren't here last time or they just want more of information about any part of what I've just said, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to carry on in just a second. Dan, I haven't forgotten about you, baby. I haven't forgotten about you, Dan. Page 13, though, I had forgotten. There was the number. Dan, ladies and gentlemen, Dan's joke. If you're just joining me, write a page number in the chat, 1 to 280, and I'll read you a joke at some point, at some interval. Daniel, wait, let's get another terrible zoom. Dan, this is for you. Page 13. Which was the I think, yeah, was that the yeah, okay. The joke from last time is on this page, Dan. I'm not going to go near that with a barge pole. Let's just go randomly here. Oh my god. Oh, Dan. What 3 letters, by the way, the category is alphabet for some reason. What 3 letters turn a girl into a woman? A, G, E. Age. It's literally what turns a girl into a woman. Dan, that's on you, my friend. That's on you. No, just kidding. That was great, but the other joke was just as bad in that awful category. Put your page numbers in the chat. Abdul says, "Hey, I made it this time." Kadel. Wait, who's Kadel? What are you talking about? Who's Kadel? I don't know what you're talking about. Abdul, I don't know what you're talking about. Who's this Kadel? It's definitely not. Wait, hang on. I gotta show you something. No, I can't spoil it. I'll show you later. Abdul, if I haven't said anything about this Kadel topic in half an hour, remind me in the chat. I'll show you something. It's funny. Maybe. Anyway, there's the recap. There's a joke. Let's get coding. I've got we're already half an hour in. I've done nothing. And I need to try and finish this app again. I won't finish it, I'm sure, because I'm too slow. Right. So main activity currently loads the category screen. My job right now is to implement the other screen. I'm going to start by setting up the other screen, navigating to it when I do a click. And after I've done that, after I've set up the navigation, I'm actually going to do the network calls and connect up the MVVM stack of it all so that it actually works. Here we go. So to start with, we have this Disher app. In here, I'm just going to put my sort of notes as I go. To do, I need to split this into. I need to use a NavHost to host the different composables, and I need to put inside of the composables the category screen. I'm just going to call it CS, and composables. I'm going to call the other one. What is it? It's meals, dishes, dishes screen, dishes. Screen is my next screen to set up. Okay, so in the Disher project, I'm sorry you might not be able to see this on the left, it's a little bit zoomed out, but I'm going to right click the main project package, new package, and I'm going to call it dishes. And to start with, I'm going to make new Kotlin class file. I'm going to call it dishes screen. Okay, cancel that, zoom on in. It's not a class, get out of here. It's compose. If you do COMP like this, and you can see it's got this little hint. If I do COMP and hit enter, it automatically inflates a composable function with me ready to type the actual name of the composable function. Fun top tips. And this will be called dishes screen. Dishes screen. So nice. I'm going to go back to main activity here. And underneath here, I'm just going to put dishes screen, so I don't forget that needs to come in a second. Okay, dishes screen right here, just for my own benefit, so that I can navigate to it and check that it all navigated to successfully. I'm going to put some text just saying dishes here, dishes here. And that'll do, right? So all the dishes screen is a big text right at the top left of the screen. Useless. But what I want to do is set up the NavHost now. So our main activity calls set content. We wrap it in our Disher theme, which we've not even really touched yet. We'll touch on that at some point. And it just calls this Disher app. Inside of the Disher app, this is where I want to set the logic for NavHost. So let's start. I'm going to make something called a NavHost, and it requires some bits. In fact, what it does, it takes a block at the end, and this is where we can put our composables, and we'll talk about what that is in just a second. Let me satisfy this annoying NavHost problems with before I crack on. To start with, I need a nav controller, and Compose gives you this awesome function, one of the sort of memory remember functions called remember nav controller, which we're going to use. So I'm going to make, oh my god, it's uncapitalized, val nav capital C, please, camel case, nav controller. Okay, nice, equals remember nav controller. It's a Major Tom, sorry. And we have a nav controller. What is a nav controller, Ben? I hear you yelling. Very simple. Take the words, split them up. Navigation, moving between screens in your app. Controller, like a controller. You can use it to control things. So essentially, this is your component to be able to keep track of and control navigation events. If I needed to navigate from a category screen, for example, and go to a dishes screen, I can use the nav controller to navigate for me, and it does a lot of heavy lifting for me because it's connected to this NavHost thing. Okay, let me just delete this category screen here. In fact, not delete it because I'm going to forget what I called it. We're going to put it down here. We're going to put it in comments. Oh god, no. Oh golly gosh, no. Okay, there we go. I'm going to pass this nav controller here now to the NavHost as its first argument. Nav controller, NavHost. Now, here's the thing. The next thing it says it wants is a graph, and this is because I sort of like auto-completed NavHost. That's nonsense. That's absolutely nonsense. What you can do is get rid of graph and instead write start destination and pass it a string. Now, the way that nav controller and NavHost works is really useful, really powerful. You simply, when you want to navigate, instead of, like, for example, the navigation component in Jetpack, which is really useful and still very needed today, it used, like, actions that you had to define in your XML before you could use it. And that was fine, and it made sort of navigating relatively safe. But here, we can just use strings to say, hey, navigate to this screen that has this sort of unique route, this unique route name. It'll make sense in a second what I'm talking about. The start destination of our nav graph is the place that we want in the app to begin when the app opens and the NavHost first composes. So I would like to start in category. In fact, let me close the sidebar here. We've got a bit more space. Start destination category. That means absolutely nothing at the moment until I do this. Now, a NavHost is full of what is called composable blocks. Now, don't get it confused with, actual composable functions. These are blocks of code that are called composable. Like that, excuse me, composable? Did I stuff it? Did I stuff it? I didn't stuff it, it's fine. A composable, right? And inside of these composables, well, I need to actually give it some information as well in a second. We'll come back to that. But inside of these composables is basically compose content. And what nav graph does, if I just add another one of these, is it uses the routes and navigation to switch in and out these composable blocks that hopefully contain other information. So this first composable block will contain the category screen, for example. The second composable block will create the dishes screen. Oh, no, dishes screen, like that, right? And in a second, we'll actually wire it up. But the NavHost is the sort of holder. It's the fragment container view, if you like, in the old school world. That contains a bunch of different composables that it will switch between based on the nav controllers navigating, controlling, whatever it is. Oh, brief pause because I need a sip. Let's make it a really obnoxious loud sip. Excuse me, that's grim. How's everyone doing, by the way? Have I lost anyone yet? We've got a bunch of people here online, 6 wonderful people online. Hello, how are you doing? I'd love a bit of audience interaction. How are you? Let me know in the chat. Talk to me. How's it going? How's your day? How's your day been? And whereabouts are you tuning in from around the world as well? I'd love to know where people are tuning in from. Cool. Also, don't forget, put a page number from 1 to 280 in the chat, and I'll read you an awful joke from this book. Okay, that is my guarantee to you. That's the only thing I can guarantee in this stream, that I will read jokes, and they will be bad. Right, where was I? I'm losing my marbles. Right, so composables. Yes, the composable blocks here. What we're going to do is, for each composable block, we're going to pass it some information. It needs to know what string, what route this composable is connected to. So we're going to do this in a clever way with some like states and some nice some classes in a bit. But for now, I'm just going to set it up the sort of dumb, quick, easy way. So for the category screen composable, here you can see it's sort of telling me what it wants. It wants a route. I'm going to give it a route name that should be unique to this composable. Of course, category. Now, back over here, the start destination matches that. So immediately, as soon as the app loads, the start destination will kick in. It'll say category is my start destination, which means that this composable, category composable, will be thrust into the limelight, right? So that's cool. Okay. However, I'm going to give another one to this one. I'm going to call it dishes, okay? Dishes is nowhere else. Dishes is nowhere else other than here. Currently, nothing is navigating to dishes, right? Sad. Let's navigate to dishes. I wonder if this makes sense, though, first of all. Abdul's given me a page number. Oh, and welcome, tuning in from Pakistan. Welcome. First of all, does this make sense, what I'm telling you now? That this NavHost is basically a holder for space that is going to be used, like the old sort of frame layout, but the clever one, the fragment container view, where it would switch in and out views depending on your navigation. It's the same here. When you navigate to category, it will load this composable, our category screen. When you navigate to dishes, it will load this dishes screen, which it currently doesn't do yet. I'm going to do that. I'm going to implement that right now. But first of all, my good sir Abdul, I'm going to read you from page 54. Here we go. Page 54. That's the transition song. Here it is. The category is the category is clothing. Clothing. I wonder what jokes they could make about clothing. Here we go. I'm just going to pick randomly. Here. What do you get if you cross a black hat with a rocket? A fast bowler? I don't get it. I don't get it. What do you get if you cross a black hat with a rocket? A fast bowler? I don't get it. Okay, Abdul, I'm going to read another one because I have to get it. I have to enjoy this, otherwise it doesn't count. Let's try this one. What bow can't be tied? Crash zoom. A rainbow. See, that was better, wasn't it? What bow can't be tied? A rainbow. Beautiful rainbows. If anybody understands that earlier joke, please let me know. I think I'm having either a seizure or I'm just an idiot. And it's highly likely to be the latter. Aram has said, going with the number on your shirt. Oh, 93. I'm not going to do it now, Aram, but I will put it on my list of to-do jokes. 93. Got it in here. Got it in here. Put your joke number page thingies in the chat, my friends. Right, let's navigate to the dishes screen finally. So what we need to happen is a click of some kind. And the code that we're going to use is our nav controller dot navigate. Oh, no. Navigate. There we go. Navigate and give it the string, the route that we're going to navigate to. In this case, the category one, this is not how the final code's going to look at it, but I'm going to move it around in a second. He's going to navigate to dishes, okay? So if this code was to run now, this composable would be removed, the category one, and the dishes would be loaded instead. But we need, we can't just sort of throw that code. As soon as this composable runs, it's going to navigate away. In fact, let's see that happen. Let's just, for my own sanity, let's see that proof. The moment the app loads, it's going to go start destination category, and as soon as it does, it's going to run this nav controller, navigate, and we'll see dishes, and we'll see the dishes text on the screen right here, dishes here. But we need to set up a click event for that because that's not how apps work. Here we go, loading. And it didn't even get category screen on the screen. It just immediately went to dishes screen. But for now, let's take this and put it into a some sort of clickable function. So in the dishes screen, we need to go into the dishes screen. It's when one of these single, in fact, I need to see the dishes screen so that I can just remember, I can sort of just, oh gosh, wrong button. There we go. This one. In the dishes screen, category screen, which you can see on the screen now, each one of these is called a single category item. That's what one of these cards is. You can see roughly how it's made up. So we need to add a click, an on-click listener, basically, to this card. In Compose, it couldn't be easier, and I love this about Compose, these modifiers. So these modifiers here already describe something. They say, okay, this card is going to have a padding of 8, and you can see that there's some gappage around each card, and it's going to fill the max width that's remaining after the padding has occurred. So that whole thing is filling the leftover space. Guess what? There's a clickable modifier that literally says, hey, this thing can have click events, so it can do the weird ripple reactions or whatever it's called nowadays, and actually have some sort of lambda trigger on that click. Amazing. What do we want to do? We want to nav controller navigate. But hold on, Ben, nav controller doesn't exist here. So we have to pass it into this composable, right, which is single category item. But that originates from inside another composable, the category screen. So we've got two choices. We could pass from the main activity the nav controller into the category screen, and then from there down into the single category item. Or we can do one much better, which is never pass the nav controller. And actually, this is genuinely a recommendation from my sort of point of view. Then let the nav controller only exist in your sort of your main app composable, the disher app in my case, or the main activity area, right? And instead have blocks pass lambdas through and down. So what does that mean? So in the category screen, after I've passed in the Hilt model, I'm going to take another argument. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. And I'm going to pass into the category screen a lambda function. And Kotlin lets you pass lambda functions. And lambda functions really, really simply are functions, blocks of code that can be triggered. Okay, so you can pass functions of first-class citizens in Kotlin, meaning that like variables, like this variable here, ViewModel, you can pass functions around. How does that look? Let me show you. I'm going to call it, give it a name first. On item click, right, is going to be the variable name, right? And what's it going to be of? Because how do you do function here? Well, really simple. Open close brackets. Okay, that's the function body. And then an arrow, and it's a hyphen and a chevron to the right, and the return type. Okay, in this case, unit. Let me explain what the hell that is. This is a lambda function, or the sort of the signature of where a lambda function would go. It has a name on click item. So when I need to trigger that function, that's the name I'm going to use. It has this open close brackets, which is like the function parameters, the arguments, the parameters that are going into it, right? So I could put stuff in there. We'll see that in a second. Then we have an arrow to say like, okay, that's what's going in. Arrow, this is what's coming out. A unit. And a unit in Kotlin, if you've done any Java development, then a unit is the same as void. It's nothing. It's the single basic block of nothingness. It's not nothing because that is something in Kotlin, nothing, but it's like void in Java, if you like, similar-ish. Here we go. So on click item, and that's passed in now, right? So how do I actually, if I go back to dishes screen, the main activity where I'm calling category screen, you'll see I got this little red error now. And the error is saying no value passed for parameter on item click. Cool. So let's pass an item. Let's start by, you can remember in Kotlin, you can do named parameters. So I can do on item click equals. And then here, all I need to do is curly braces, open and close. That's a function body. That's like from this curly brace to this curly brace. That's like from this curly brace all the way down to this curly brace, right? It's just a function. It's a body. Whatever's inside of this here will be passed in, will be passed along the line. Now, there's one bit even better. In Kotlin, and this is just a weird thing you have to remember, but it becomes really useful. In Kotlin, if the last parameter or argument is a lambda, then you do not need to include it inside the braces here. Okay, so hang on, let me just make this a bit clearer what we're looking at. You do not need to include it inside the normal brackets here. It can be I think it's called a trailing lambda like this. You can literally put it behind the function or class call, whatever it is, and it's the exact same. Kotlin goes, okay, because the last thing in here was lambda, this is total legit syntax. If I got rid of this lambda here, right, and go back here, of course it'll be like, what the hell is this? Ah, you've put this like, oh, you can see the lambda syntax there. You've put this function that returns unit here. I don't get it. That's not a parameter, I know. Ah, right? Sorry, I got a little bit energetic there. But that's the beauty of Kotlin. That's the idiomacy, whatever the correct word is, that makes programming really nice in Kotlin. And that, in case you're wondering, is how, for example, like this composable block does it as well. Can you see? If we command click on composable, you can see, if I zoom in, the last parameter was a lambda. In fact, it was a compose lambda, but it was a lambda nonetheless, which means you can do that trailing lambda thing there. And I can even get rid of those curly brackets. Anyway, so what's that saying is I'm going to call category screen, and I'm going to pass in this block here. Not Gia. In fact, Gia, screw it, I can't be asked. Gia, which will be passed in here. Nice. And so if you hadn't already guessed it, I'm going to now because we're not clicking from the category screen, we're clicking from the single category item. So all I need to do is in single category item also add an on-click lambda parameter. So I'm going to just call it on-click, open close brackets, arrow to the right, unit. Okay, so and then over here you can see single category items flashing red. Again, it's the last argument in the parameter, so I can do this trailing lambda sort of syntax. I hope that's the right way to call it, trailing lambda. Can anyone verify for that for me? Trailing lambda. Anyway, so this block, which hasn't been filled in yet, will be passed into here. Now let's connect the two up. When first of all, let's start at the bottom. So when card, one of these items, gets clicked, we're gonna trigger inside of here on click. Open close brackets. Easy, done. This on click, by the way, if I command click it, is this on click here. It's this lambda. So when this card here gets clicked through this clickable modifier, it will trigger this function, which is passed in. This is where it gets a little bit difficult, but bear with me, which gets passed in. So it'll go back up to here. Right now, the function's not doing anything. So we need to connect up the one that's coming from the main activity right at the top into the category screen. So we're going to pass in on item click here, open close brackets, and bang. Right, let me just recap what the hell's just happened, because that was a bit weird. Category screen now takes a lambda on item click. This is the block of code it will run. Nothing in here yet. We're going to do that in a second. But it will pass that lambda it will trigger that lambda here, which is in the on single item click lambda here, which gets triggered when the actual Compose UI card gets clicked. This is the lowest level we can hit. Like, this is where the clicks happen, the actual clicks. And we're going to propagate it all the way back up. This is a much better way, passing this lambda block, than passing the nav controller. Now, this is awesome. So our things are all connected. And in fact, if I run it right now, we haven't actually done anything. We're still doing, right here, we're doing nothing. Nothing is happening. We're passing lambda and lambda, lambda. All the blocks are pretty much empty. But simply because I added inside a category screen this clickable modifier, when I click, you can actually see, I'm clicking on the card, you can actually see click interactions now. Cards are getting clicked. And you can control that as well, the reactions, right? But it's so powerful, Compose. Ah, amazing. Right, let's wire up the nav controller once and for all. Oops, excuse me. I want to move this into here. Kill that. Delete that. Command, Option, and L to auto format. Nice. So now, category screen, I won't go over it all the time, I promise. Category screen takes a lambda that basically gets propagated down all the way to each individual item that we see on screen here, right? When these items are clicked, we go all the way back up the chain to read the body of the function, and it's triggering a nav controller navigate. So when I click on an item, we'll navigate to dishes. That's all for now. Real simple. Here we go. Running the app. Oops, excuse me. I'm going to click on chicken. Chicken! And you can see immediately, click chicken, and it navigated me over to the dishes screen. We have navigation. However, come close, come here. Something's missing. How does dishes screen how does dishes screen know that I click chicken? It doesn't. It doesn't yet. How does dishes screen know that I clicked this time beef? It doesn't yet, but it will. It will, and it's super easy. Let me show you. In fact, before we do that, joke break. Somebody had a number. I think it was 93. Who was 93, by the way? Let me see. Aram, 93. If you're still here, Aram, hello, by the way, to everybody in the audience. We've got 7 wonderful people here. Hello. Thank you for joining me on the stream. I promise I'm going to do some coding at some point. We've just done some. But if you're just joining and wondering why I'm opening a book to a certain page, then please join in with the jokes. All you need to do is pick a page number from 1 to 280, post it in the chat, and I'll read you a terrible, terrible joke at some point. This is for Aram, and who has also just confirmed that trailing lambda is the correct way to describe what I was just describing. Page 93. Ooh, Aram, I don't know if you're here, but you have a choice between 2 categories. You have the category either of 1, elves and goblins, or 2, Eskimos. Aram, I'm gonna just take a second and let you pick. Aram, I'm only accepting your answers. Either pick a category between elves and goblins or Eskimos. And wouldn't it be funny if Aram's gone already? We're just like, but I'm gonna sit here out of. It's the principle. Aram, over to you. Elves and goblins or Eskimos. Those are your categories, and I'll pick your joke from there. Oh my goodness. Okay. Aram's written, in regards to compose events, use name parameters versus trailer lambdas. Which one do you think is more readable? Ooh. Okay, Aram, I will answer your question right now, whilst you also answer mine. So, elves and goblins or Eskimos, Aram. But to answer your question, I genuinely, I dislike my own answer. I genuinely believe that named parameters, so instead of me doing this trailing lambda syntax, the named parameter where I'm like on item click, is it on single item click? I forgot what it is. On item click, right? Something like that, right? Is more readable because you will eventually get the composes functions are never this short. You'll get compose functions that maybe have like 4 or 5 different lambdas even in it, depending on different click events. And I dislike the answer because I really love the sort of idiomatic Kotlin of it all, but it is far more easy to understand and read and maintain if they're named parameters. And I'm sorry. And that's science, that's science. Aram, I'm gonna have to press you for an answer myself, buddy. Elves and goblins or Eskimos. And if you don't answer in the next 20 seconds, I'm gonna pick for you. Wouldn't that be sad? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so cruel. I don't mean to be so cruel. I'm watching that chat. My hawk eyes are watching that chat. Aram Hilorgba, if you're there, you've got 10 more seconds. Elves and goblins or Eskimos. Let's count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's time, I'm afraid. Live streams. This is what happens. Here we go. I'm going to pick elves and goblins because I'm a Dungeons and Dragons nerd. And oh, he's written it is. Eskimos. Forget it. You just made it. Eskimos, Aram. Thank you very much. Love you. And here comes an Eskimo joke. I better be good after all that. Okay. What do Eskimos get if they sit on the ice too long? Polaroids. What do Eskimos get if they sit on the ice too long? Polaroids. I don't get it again. But I think it's like hemorrhoids, right? Hemorrhoids. It must be. Hemorrhoids is a thing where you need like a donut cushion to protect your butt or something. And sitting ice, Polaroids. Aram, you should have picked elves and goblins. I'm sorry. Oi. Here we go. Quick sip and we'll crack on. Okay, so we just navigated. We just connected up the category screen. When you click on an individual item, it navigates you to the dishes screen. However, we need something a little more. Thanks, Nala. Yeah, I agree. Polaroids was bad. Let's go to the dishes screen. And let's add an actual parameter in here. We're going to call it, because what's getting passed eventually will be a category. So we'll call it a category, and it'll be a string. We're going to pass the category string. And in fact, I'm going to put it in the text view straight away. So we're going to do the category is category. There we go. So we're going to present this. The category is something, and it's going to be whatever gets passed in. How do we pass it in? Easy-ish. It's a little bit weird, but bear with me as I explain to you. By the way, how's everyone doing? Wow, the answer at the last second by Aaron. Throw the star. I know, Abdul. This is what you come here for. Jokes being submitted last second from a category that we had no idea was coming. And in fact, the other one was picked and then switched back. This is real life. This is live streaming, and it doesn't get more exciting than this. Thank you, Abdul, for your energy. Thank you, Aram, for your last second brilliant Eskimo call. I forgot what I was doing. Oh, yeah, nav arguments. Okay, so now, here we go. If we want nav arguments, so parameters to be passed as part of the navigation event, so dishes, when dishes gets passed, I want to pass something along the lines. We do it sort of like sort of like URLs, if you like. It's sort of like that. But let me explain what on earth I'm on about. I just need to get my example back on screen because I've quite forgotten what I was doing. Yep. 2 seconds, folks. Bear with me. Why do I do this to myself? I should have put the example on screen because I simply can't remember the I'm probably losing everyone now. Hey ho, this is what happens. Yes, okay, right. Let me just put a note here and I'll come back to it. / the actual string. Come back to that. Oh, great. Comments. There we go. And over here, I've got that on screen. It's fine. Okay, I've got my notes, which I should have had before. I apologize about that. What went over your head? Another thing you come for is the amazing camera zoom work. Thank you, Abdul. I appreciate it. Aram, yeah, it went over my head as well. I'm pretty sure it's got to do with hemorrhoids, which is weird because I don't really know what hemorrhoids are, but I know that they're like a butt thing. They're like a butt thing. Anyway, let's get back to the code. I'm sorry. I should quiet down. Now, okay, we've got this nav controller navigate event to dishes. If I want to pass something to dishes now, the way that I do it is very simple. Like sort of URLs, not really, a little bit. I'm going to do a /, right? A /, like breaking it down. It's more like deep links. Like with deep links, you can have slashes to sort of like different layers of your app and extract it that way. It's sort of similar-ish here. And inside of dishes, I'm going to put something. Whatever it is, I'm going to put my, the actual category here, right? But it's not going to be like a string. It's not going to be the word category. It is going to be a string, but it's going to be a variable that's passed from the category screen. So when the user clicks a category, one of these things, we need to pass the category ID or the category title, whatever it is, up the chain back to this category screen. So we need to do that. Let's start with that. So this Lambda function currently has no parameters. It doesn't take anything. Like it has no function arguments. It has nothing that it sort of takes in. We got to change that. We got to add a string here. Okay, so we'll have a string coming back out of the on item click. Okay, nice. Here, this single category item, it has an on click as well that also needs a string as a my brain is just not working with the actual naming of these things. Manan says, I love you, Ben. Thank you. Love you too. You stay wonderful. Where are you tuning in from, folks, as well? So yeah, I appreciate you being here, and I'm sorry that I'm a babbling idiot today. In fact, I'm a babbling idiot every day, and that is the secret to success. Anyway, sorry. So in the category screens Lambda, the on-click item, we're also going to have a string coming in. We do the same thing to the single category item, okay? And now, at the bottom, when the actual card itself gets clicked, we need to pass something back up. We have this category information. Remember the category class that we made last time that comes from the API. It has an ID category, a str category, a description, and a thumbnail. And you're seeing on screen, you're seeing the str category and the thumbnail, right? So let's have a little look quickly back at the API because I forget. The filter one here, it takes a category and it's seafood. Seafood. So seafood it doesn't look like an ID to me. It looks more like a str category. So we're going to pass the str. I know I'm saying it like an idiot. The str category. Delhi. Manan. Delhi. Hello, Delhi. Hello, Manan. Welcome. We're going to pass the str category back up the chain. So here in the onClick, remember we have access to the category that we're displaying. I'll do category.str category. Okay. So now when I'm calling onClick, I'm passing this string as a parameter. So back up here, now you'll see that I have this this sort of like grayed in bit from the IntelliJ saying, oh, here's the variables that you have to work with inside of this function. I have an it reference to a string, and that string, the it, is literally this it, because remember we're passing this lambda block into the single category item, and this string is this string. If that makes sense. So all I need to do in here is type it, right? I'm literally passing it up the line. It's a bit redundant. All I'm doing is sort of passing down a lambda, passing up the response all the way back up so that nav controller can deal with it. So I pass it back up here. And then finally, back over in nav activity, you can see again this sort of like IDE hint thing. It says I've got a string to work with here. I have our string, it. Okay. In Kotlin, you can change the fact that it's called it and give it an actual name. I'm going to say, oh yeah, this is actually the variable called category. If I just give it a name like that after the curly bracket and an arrow like that, it'll say that it's not being used yet. You can rename it to underscore like that. The underscore basically just is saying like it's not being used. But I want a category, and now I can pass that into the actual navigate, right? So here, I'm navigating to dishes root, which is here, and I'm going to do / and then the actual, the str category that's coming back from my categories, pushing all the way down the single source of truth and up the data. Dan, can you do this show, please? Because I can't do words as good as you just did words. Dan said, pushing down the single source of truth and up the data. That is so beautifully and succinctly put, Dan. Thank you so much. Dan, in fact, Dan, you can be our wordsmith, okay? So whenever I say dumb shit, sorry, I shouldn't swear. Whenever I say dumb stuff that makes no sense to anybody else, but Dan, you understand it. You can put it in a lovely, succinct way for me in the comments if you want to. I would welcome that. That'd be brilliant. Anyway. Now we've added to the nav controller navigate. We're navigating to root dishes, and we're passing in this category thing as its next parameter, but it doesn't really do anything yet. So we need to wire up the fact that this composable can collect that, that category addition. And how do we do that? Well, this is where it becomes ever so slightly not difficult, but a little bit more of a pain in the butt than you would like. So to start with, sorry, 2 seconds. Just reading. It's that bit there. Sorry, I've got my, for full clarity, I've got my notes in front of me because no human being should be expected to remember this off the top of their head. Right, dishes. All I need to do to dishes here now is pass a second parameter here, and we're going to use a named argument called arguments, and these composables inside of the NavHost can take arguments. They can accept something here. And what is that something? Well, really simply, it's a list of arguments. So you start with list of, and then inside of it, you tell it the type of arguments that it can have. This might be a bit weird, but remember, it's list of because sometimes we might not get out of here, fly. There's a fly. You can stay, whatever. Because most of the time, not most of the time, some of the times we won't just have one string coming through. We might have a string and an int, some other argument parameters that all build to make the data of this next screen. So list of is useful to us, but right now it's a bit redundant. The next thing we want is something called a nav argument. Okay, nav argument, and the nav argument, if you hadn't already guessed it, it's a nav argument. It's a navigation argument. It's something that is additional to our navigation route that will act as an argument. But the important thing is here, it doesn't know like what type of argument it is. So it needs two pieces of information. First of all, it needs a block of code behind it. We'll come back to that in a second. See how it gets a little bit convoluted. I'll try and keep it on one line just for the moment. And it's this bit we're looking at. It wants a nav argument. And you want to give it, first of all, a name. Now, any idea what we call this thing? Whatever we want. We'll call it category. Okay? Category to start off with. So whenever I reference the argument name category, that is the that's where our sort of this information will be stored, right? Nice. Okay, so it's got a name. The nav argument has a name, and now it needs something in this block. I'm unfortunately going to have to go onto a separate line, but I'm inside of this. Let me just expand the screen here. It's a bit. In fact, we don't need the phone at the moment. We're inside of this nav arguments block here, right? And what we need to do now is tell it what type of argument it is. If anybody has done Android development before, you might remember something like safe args, which was like when you're doing navigation events using the nav component. It was really annoying to like pass like arguments between screens and fragments, you maybe had to use like the bundle or something. But safe args was a really nice way that you could say, oh yeah, this screen is accepting an int and a string, and that's it. That's what it accepts. And it would do like some checks for you. It would make sure those variables there. It was really nice. This is essentially the new age version of this. I need to tell it the type. The type is what type of variable is. This, of course, is a string. And it has this nav type, and we have string type. And let me just get rid of string type there. Nav type dot, and you can see that you can pass all sorts of information between composables, between these screens. Bools, floats, ints. String type is the one I want. I'm literally saying, okay, this nav argument, let me just highlight it. This nav argument called category is of type string. Nice and easy. Okay, cool. Now the composable accepts that it can have a category as its sort of second, as its like additional information, additional to the root. How do we actually like get that? Because we've got Dish's screen here that needs to accept. See, it's got a little red line because remember we added on Dish's screen that it takes a category. It must have a category. There's no default parameter. How do we actually pass something in? Let me just put an empty string there to shut up the error. We need to do something inside of this composable here where I've written to do. Let me just center the screen. We need to collect that information from the root, from the navigation event. Let me just type it out, and you'll see what on earth I'm on about, because it's getting really weird and confusing. I'm going to start val category, and just to differentiate, I'll call it category str, right? Just declaring a variable. I'm going to use a remember block, remember, right? Like that, a compose remember block. So remember, that's like it holds a little bit of memory. Every time this block gets recomposed, this remember will at least have like this sort of fake caching system. So it keeps hold of information so that if information isn't evaluated every time it's recomposed, which we don't have control about, remember. So remember, and inside of here, we'll put the starting param. Now, here we go. We have access to this nav backstack entry. So it's called it inside this block, nav backstack entry. It dot. Ooh, arguments is the first one there. Those of you who are yelling at the screen, the first thing to pop up was arguments. And it's, so you can see it's related to like a bundle as well. It's crazy. It's crazy good. So it.arguments, we're going to grab that. And somehow we need to now, from the arguments, from the bundle, get a string in this case, right? And those of you that have Androided before, you'll be yelling at the screen, .get. And then we have, of course, the different types. So get int, get bool, get string in our case. And we need to give it a key to look for. What is the key, Ben? I hear you yell. Well, remember, we gave the argument a unique name called category. Well, that's the key. That's the thing that it was stored under. So we'll stick category in there. And now what we're saying is when this thing gets first composed, look in the root. You should have a nav argument called category. And please grab hold of it and hold on to it in this category str variable. And whenever it gets recomposed, this will be the same variable because of this sort of caching memory system that remembers have. Now, arguments is a nullable, which is great. So we stick a question mark in there to make that sort of null safe, but that then puts the onus on category str. If I just Control Shift and P over category str, if before it was only going to be a string type, but now it's a string question mark type, so a nullable string in Kotlin. So we're going to have to deal with that further down the line. But for all intents and purposes now, this category str will contain the nav argument that we get that passes into here. So I can pass that into our dishes screen, right? Our dishes screen. So I'm going to put category str. It's giving me a red underline, of course, because it says it wants a string, and we have given it a nullable string. So it could be null. So let's stick an Elvis operator there, which basically says, hey, if the left side of this Elvis expression evaluates to be null, so if the value is null, then you can run the right side of this Elvis expression. And on the right side, we'll just give it a different string to take as a default parameter. We could do that, or we could go into the dishes screen and make the string actually a nullable string, which I'm sort of tempted to do here because then it gets rid of the grossness upstairs. So dishes screen, it's a nullable string category, which might not be the best thing, but then we can get rid of this bit here. And now this nullable string is an acceptable parameter, okay, to take into dishes string. Okay, let me get rid of this to do. We'll go to dishes string, and here now this category is nullable. So if it's not there, we'll just see the category is right. But if it is there, we'll see the category is something. So before I run it, we're at the grand reveal time. What did we do? We added an on-click to the category screen so that when one of its items, the single category items, was clicked, it will pass that category's str category, the name of the category basically, back up the chain, back up, into the main activity inside of the NavHost where we have access to the nav controller. Then it will trigger the nav controller to do a navigate event to the dishes screen with that piece of information that was passed back up. Great. Then, when the navigation happens to the dishes composable, let me just reformat this because it looks gross. It will route to dishes, and it will also look for arguments. It should have a list of arguments that contains one argument that is of type string with the name category. If that exists, then it will grab it and send it into the dishes screen. Let's just try it. Let's just run it, see what happens. I think I might have screwed something up. If I have, then we're going to come to that in just a second. But I think I might have it. Oh, my back. My back. Right, beef. Let's click beef. I did. I screwed it up. I knew I screwed it up. I think I know exactly what it is as well. It's just really upsetting that I was so silly. Yeah, I know. It's because I was wondering about my name. This is really bad, but this is what happens in real life coding situations. I've done the nav argument wrong. So here, I think I need to instead put question mark because this dishes doesn't know it takes dishes. So I've missed this bit out. Let me just be sure of what I'm gonna do before I'm gonna do it. Na, 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 na. Is that right, Ben? I don't know. It looks right. Oh, it's because I'm an idiot. Yeah. I did miss it. I did miss it. Okay, this is called real life coding, and it's happening in front of you. It's real. Yeah. Okay. So I think if I'm right, I can do. I forgot. Basically, what's happened here, folks, is that I've completely forgotten to connect up the root. Right, we've set up the arguments, but I forgot to say to the root that it can accept something as like it can accept a / something. It was trying to navigate to dishes / beef, and it was like, oh, I don't know where I'm navigating to. That root doesn't exist because it didn't. We had dishes and then nothing. So here, I need to just do, I think I need to do this. I need to just check this in a second. I need to put category in here as well, matching that name to that name to that name. And now, if I run this, I hope it works. Otherwise, there's a third way that I'll try in a second. Right, click beef. Yay, the category is beef. There we go. Sorry, I forgot to connect up the roots. Now, when it's trying to route to dishes beef, it will go, oh, let me look for dishes beef. Dishes something. And this sort of syntax is like, oh yeah, this is going to be a variable. This is going to be like a parameter. Okay, nice. So I'm going to go back. Let's navigate to lamb. This category is lamb. Let's navigate to chicken. Let's navigate to dessert. Excellent. Our navigation, our second screen works. Oh, that was an hour. And I just navigated between screens. I'm so sorry. Maybe I'm over-explaining things. Folks, if you're still here, am I explaining too much for your liking, or am I explaining good? Like, should it be long and well-explained, or should it be fast and sort of maybe less well-explained? Please let me know in the chat. I genuinely want to hear it, because my style, if you've seen any of my videos, is to explain like hell and then rely on the edit. But here, in live, I explain like hell, and there ain't no edit possible. Somebody called Chimp says, good job, Ben. Okay. Chimp, I assume that you mean that the explanation amount is okay. Louis says, explaining good. Okay, I shall crack on then. And what we get done, we get done. We've got 45 minutes left of the stream. Folks, give me a page number. We haven't done a joke in a while. Somebody right now in the chat, it doesn't matter if you've done it already, write me a page number from 1 to 280. And I will tell you a joke right now from this. Also, how is everybody? Has anybody got any questions? Samira says, you explained very good. Thank you so much. And also 100, I assume. Page number 100. Here we go. This is for you, Samira. Yes, I'm a novice in understanding some concepts, Chimp said. Awesome. Cool. Well, welcome, Chimp, by the way. Everybody is welcome here. And I would love, if you have any questions about Android development, my actual job, I'm a senior Android developer at a company here in Berlin. So if you have any question about the industry or my job or Android or coding or anything like that, please write in the chat. Page 100. Yes! No! You have no idea what's happening. Only I'm enjoying this. I opened up to page 100, and the category I saw in front of me was farting. But it says, it literally refers, farting, see manners. No. In fact, yes, I'm going to do that. Samira, with your permission, I would like to hunt out the category of manners in order to try and locate a farting joke. I'm going to go ahead and do that. If you're really unhappy with that, yell now, and I'll withdraw and go back to page 100. But I think you'd prefer it. I get that feeling. I get the feeling that people would prefer a farting-based joke. But it's farting see manners. That's such a strange segue to make. Anyway, Samira, page 100, which linked me over to what? Oh, which linked me over to page 172 underneath the manners category. I'm going to see if I can find a farting joke. I found a farting joke. Samira, this is for you. Let's have a little zoom. Get cozy. I'm going to get cozy. Here we go. This one's a long one. It's not a long one. It's one of them limericks. So just enjoy this. Ladies and gentlemen, Samira's... I blame this on you now, Samira. Samira's farting joke. Got to get serious. There was a young man called Art. You can see where this is going. There was a young man called Art who thought he'd be terribly smart. He ate 10 cans of beans and busted his jeans with a loud and earth-shattering fart. There was a young man called Art who thought he'd be terribly smart. He ate 10 cans of beans and busted his jeans with a loud and earth-shattering fart. The book has regained itself. My confidence in this book has been redeemed thanks to you, Samira. Everybody, round of applause, either quietly in your own time or in the chat, for Samira, for enabling us, for allowing farts to be our joke category. I'm gonna do it as well. Clap, clap, amazing. Right, now with that fun, back to business. We've got 40 minutes, and I want to try and actually get this screen done. Let's do some compose! Okay, we have now passed the struct category into dishes screen. So we have this category thing ready to rock and roll. The only problem is now we need to make a network request with this information. So to start with, I need to build all of our stack from ViewModel, UseCase, repository, all the way down to the service. I'm going to try and do that really sharp, really quick. And then we're going to actually make the network request. And we're going to use something called a DisposableEffect. This fly is annoying as hell, to enable us to actually trigger something as soon as the composition has begun. Okay, let's see what happens. Right, let's build a stack. This should really be a montage. Let's build a stack. Right. Dishes package, ViewModel. Dishes, right click, new package. I'm just going to do it all up front. UseCase was UseCase. Repository, we can probably keep as the, nope, we're going to have a fresh repository as well. Package repository. This is maybe a little bit redundant, but this is totally up to you how you manage this. And actually, I think I'm going to go absolutely wild because the category service is one of its own. And I kind of want to have a dishes service. I know it's a little bit redundant, but it will mean that if I decide to change this app, which I never will, that I can extend it. But for now, I'm just going to basically redo what we did in the first episode, but real fast. And we're going to have a service package. Service. Right, ViewModel, let's begin. New Kotlin class, we're going to call it dishes ViewModel. Okay, zoom. We're going to extend ViewModel. We're going to open close brackets. I know that I'm going to add it to the injection in a second, so we'll do that. I'll do at hilt. If you don't know what I'm doing right now, this was from last episode. I'm telling Hilt that this is a view model and that it can be injected into, which is really, really useful. I'm going to write inject constructor, and in a second, I'm going to add dependencies into that constructor that Hilt will inject for me. There's the view model. Nice. Let's keep rolling. Next, use case. I actually want to go back to my original use case to show you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to make an interface, and I'm going to have the operator invoke again, so that every use case, and this is sort of up to you, every use case should have only one function. It should have only one use case. And that's how I'm going to do it that way, okay? So I'm going to, in fact, I'm just going to copy this for speed. Hell, and we'll change it all. Right, use case, we're going to call it... get dishes use case. Bear with me. Let's this should be like a speed run. I don't think I could do any amount of good time in a speed run. Let's paste in that interface that I just copied before. I want to change. I'm gonna yank word. I'm going to go over here and paste in that, delete the word dishes use case, which has a invoke thingy that returns a category response. That's wrong. I'm just going to put a placeholder of a string for now. We'll come back to that in a second. I want to do get dishes use case. Over in here, I want to override the invoke function, and this is going to do something. Now, of course, this use case, we need to inject things into it. It needs to know about, in the use case, it needs to know about the repository. There is our use case. And this should actually return a duff string for now, just so it doesn't yell at me. We're going to give it parameters in a second. It's going to be the repository, but we'll come back to that once we've done all the way down the layer. Repository, here we go. Got to keep moving. The time is ticking. The guy that I'm doing a video with, Mikey from Art of Software, has already done his app, so I'm way behind. Repository. Let me just get the same sort of naming convention, category repository. So this is going to be called dishes repository. And again, you might have a question about how I'm deciding to structure this. Maybe the dishes and categories could be its own repository. It could be like food repository. This is all sort of really just down to, preference and how you want to split things up. This means it's going to be super, super testable, which I'll probably never do. Right, iDishes repository. This class is going to extend from iDishes repository. And you're probably asking yourself, why am I doing all of the typing out as opposed to just copying and pasting it? And I think it's really good practice. If you want to get better at stuff, is to actually type it out instead of copying and pasting it. Your hands practice that way. Your mind practices wrapping around it, and you become really knowledgeable. Like, I could set up a class and an interface in seconds now, whereas maybe some people would need to go away, copy, paste it, just remember what the syntax is, and so on. Dishes is there. It's injectable. Off to the service. Okay, file, Kotlin class. This one's actually an interface. iDishes service. iDishes service. This is our retrofit dishes service, and we're going to have a fun get dishes for category. And it's going to return, for now, it's going to return a string. I always just do the quotes, which is really dumb. This is a retrofit thing. If you're wondering what on earth retrofit is, then look at last episode. But essentially, last time we set up a retrofit endpoint, a retrofit client that could reach this categories endpoint. Now we want to reach filter. So it's the same as categories was. See, v1 categories. It's the same as that, but it's filter with a URL query parameter. I believe they're called URL query parameter, but I always get those names wrong. So for now, let me go into dishes service, paste that bad boy in. Yep. And for now, we need to take this away because this C is no longer, it's not seafood every time. That'd be wrong. We want to access our particular thing. And in fact, this right moment right here gives me a pause because I want to tell you about something that somebody in the chat messaged about earlier that I said I will talk about later. Right now is the best time to talk about it, so I'm going to talk about it. If you don't already know, right now October is a very special month for developers. There's an event that happens called Hacktoberfest, like Oktoberfest, but with hacking and coding. It's happening right now, and basically, long story short, it's been happening for years. It's basically a way to get people contributing, getting involved in open source code bases. So on GitHub, you can get involved, and if you make 4 PRs for pull requests that get accepted as part of Hacktoberfest during the month of October, you are eligible to get a free t-shirt. I should have got my t-shirts out from the past to show you, but they're really cool. They have like Hacktober, they do different logos each time, and that's Hacktoberfest, okay? Right now, you can see that I am 3 in progress. I'm 3 of 4 so far. I still need to get my 4th one, but I found a really nice repository to get involved with for my 4th one. So I'm hopefully going to be done nice and early because October's a hell of a month for me. But the reason that I say that is because, do I have GitHub logged in over here? I do. This repository, Disher, that we're talking about right here, right now, is on GitHub, right? This repository, the code that we're working on here is on GitHub called Disher, Cardelio Disher. Right. In fact, I'm going to copy this and paste the link into our chat right now. So if you're looking at the chat at the side here or there, wherever it is, you'll see the link. Disher is tagged, if you can see here on the screen, I'll try and zoom in, is tagged with Hacktoberfest. That means I added the tag to this repository, Hacktoberfest, meaning that if anybody wants to, anybody could get involved with this code base. They could fork the code. I'm not going to teach you how to use GitHub. If you're interested in using GitHub, then I have a Git series on my channel. Go check it out. It's dope. I think it's dope. But you could fork the repository, make some changes to this code base, and make a pull request. A pull request here into the code base, basically saying, hey, Ben, can we merge the code? And it becomes part of your code. And you can see 2 wonderful people currently, I'm sorry, 2 days ago it was opened, and this was open yesterday. I'm sorry that I'm taking so long. It's been a real busy few days. There's currently some pull requests open to bring in their code from the code base. So if we just click on this dish ViewModel, Hitesh Patel 10. Hello, if you're here, by the way, Hitesh. Hello, and thank you for this. Hitesh has made some changes to the code base, and in particular, the dish ViewModel, which is sort of what we're working on at the minute. And that's why it sort of triggered my memory. But Hitesh, if I just open, you can see the files that were changes. A dish has been added, a dish response. Oh, this is sort of cheating for later. I apologize. But you can see, in fact, we'll use this right now. You can see right here, a dish service, iDish service, with this filter request that we're doing right now. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to use it right now. But the point I'm trying to make is that you watching, you right there, you, if you would like to, it doesn't matter if you're an Android developer, I would love newbies or people that have never done Android development to have a go as well, to code. Maybe these videos give you inspiration to try making the individual dish screen as opposed to the dishes screen, you know? Feel free, try that out. If you need help, resources, I've got my Git videos to check out. It's super easy. The Hacktoberfest website, it has resources to help you get involved. You know, the videos, how to do it, really great videos. And I will be accepting pull requests as part of Hacktoberfest and giving you feedback as well if you want it. So that's exciting. Hacktoberfest, aka Disher, is available for Hacktoberfest. If you want to get involved, get your free shirt. If you're just joining us, hello. We've got 9 wonderful people in the audience. Hello, hello, hello. Really glad that you're here and watching. Please feel free to write a page number from 1 to 280 in the chat, and I'll give you a terrible joke. I was just explaining about Hacktoberfest, the awesome event, and how this repository that we're working on as part of this live stream is a Hacktober Festival repository, and I will give feedback if you want it. In fact, somebody in this chat earlier, Vivek was the person. Vivek has contributed. Let's just really quickly look at pull requests. Sorry, Vivek, if this is putting you on the spot. You can see here, there's Vivek. It's merged into the main code base, so into the main branch. Vivek did the NavHost stuff that we've just done, and we had a little conversation about it, and we brought his changes in, his or her changes in, apologies. We brought their changes in into the code base. So that's really exciting. So Vivek, apologies if you're here and you were just thrust onto the spot. But yeah, anyway, Hacktoberfest, amazing. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. I'll love to help you get involved. More the merrier. Get a shirt as well. Get a shirt. Right, here we go. I've just nicked this from the pull request somebody's made. I apologize. It's terrible to copy and paste code, but it's for my reasons. And I'm not going to actually paste and use it. I'm going to retype it like I say to do, because it's always good practice. So first of all, we're going to access the filter PHP endpoint for the meals database. We need to add this question mark C and then something here. This is called a query parameter. And retrofit, you can see here, has a way of passing query parameters into the actual request itself. All we need to do is add a variable here, category name, right? Here, so it takes a category name, a str category, and we can add in front of this annotation here, which basically says this is a query parameter, and it goes by the name of C in the actual query. So what it'll do with this line, it will, when it's making the request, it'll go, oh, I need to add question mark C equals, and then whatever the value is of category name. This is awesome. This is really powerful. Retrofit is dope. You need to check out Retrofit if you haven't already. So let's just let's make make query here, open close brackets, and it's called C. And thank you to Hitesh, I think it was, who did this line of code that I've just absolutely awfully just stolen. Right. Or used, leveraged. Leverage is the better way to put it. So now we have a request. It's making a string return type, which, remember, I wonder if I left that in. If I go back to my app module, remember I added in a scalars factory here, but I've since got rid of it. So before calling it, I'm going to have to make sure that I have the right return type here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the meal database. We've got half an hour. I'm going to call this URL right here, right now. So filter with seafood, and we're going to see the types of responses that it has. Okay, raw data. I'm going to simply, this is the thing I showed you last time that's amazing. I'm going to copy entirely the response. I'm going to go back to Android Studio, and inside of dishes, I'm going to add a new package called model, which is where my data model classes will go. And then I'm going to right click, new Kotlin data class from JSON. This is the thing I showed you last time. I can paste in the JSON here, hit format, see that it all looks good, and then make it create classes for me without me having to say, okay, I need to make a dish class. Okay, I need to make a dishes response class, blah, blah, blah. It will do it all for me. Watch this. So I give it the first class's name. This is going to be a dish response. I don't know. Dish response. Dishes response. Dishes response. Hit generate. It's asking me to add files to Git. I'll do that later. Oh, I hit add. Doesn't matter. I'll do that later. And look what it's made for me on the side. It's made a meal class and a dishes response. So if I open dishes response, it's made a dishes response that contains a value called meal, which is a list of meals. And if we just go back to the JSON, you can see there is a meals thingy, which contains a list of something. And of course, the meal is a new class that we've created as well. If I zoom in, each meal has an ID, a string name, and a thumbnail. And you can see it there, ID, meal name, thumbnail. Beautiful. Seconds worth of work. Save yourself some time. Now I'll go back to the dishes service. Instead of a string, I will now plug in a dishes response. Dishes response. There we go. So it's going to return a dishes response. I also remember that I'm using coroutines to make these calls. So I'd stick a suspend in front of that. I'm also going to just format this a little bit nicer so we can see that. Command Option L to auto format as well. So we're now calling the filter endpoint. We're going to pass it our category name. Let's go back up the chain into the repository and change these bits over here. So I need to have a service, which is an iDishes service. I still need to add these things to our dependency injection, but we're going to have a function in the dishes repository called get dishes for category. It's going to take a category name string and it's going to return a dishes. No, it's a dishes response. Nah, nice. And then in the actual implementation, I'm going to override. How's everyone doing, by the way? Chat's quiet. Chat's well quiet, but we've got some people here. We've got some 10 people. Let me know what's going on. I'm going to hit service dot get dishes for category, pass the category name, and of course this wants a dishes response, so I'm going to return that there. Nice, and we're looking good. What's up with you? What is up with you? Oh, it's not suspend function, of course, because I'm an idiot. Suspend function here, suspend function here. Now it's suspend functions all the way, and coroutines is happy. I still need to do this injection, this dishes service. In fact, let's do that now. Let's jump over to the app module, where I've done the category service injection. I'm going to yank that, paste it, and do some renaming here just to save myself some time. So instead of provide category service, it's going to be provide dishes service. See, this is just me about setting up loads of code. It's going to take retrofit as an argument. And of course, where's it going to get that from? We'll look here with this up arrow. It gets it from higher up in this Hilt module class. So it's dependencies, dealing with dependencies. It returns an iDishes service. That was this interface type here, so that retrofit can do all of the code generation for us. And of course, it's not an iCategory service, it's an iDishes service. Nice. We have provided the dishes service. This is fine. Nice. Let's go back up to the use case, Get dishes use case. Oh, excuse me, I'm knocking this. I'm going to pass a repo, and this is going to be an iDishes repo. It's testing this, isn't it? iDishes repo. And inside the invoke here, I'm going to do repo dot get dishes for category. And this invoke actually will, of course, need to take the category name as well, which is a string. Nice. Yank in quotes. I'm going to paste in that there. So now we got the category name as part of the invoke function. That, of course, is going to get passed into the repository. I hope I'm not losing people here, but if all of this is confusing to you and why I'm going so fast, please check out Livestream 1 because I do explain this really, really deeply each way. Delete that. This we need to return this up because the ViewModel is going to be actually making the coroutine call. And I think what's up with that now? What's up with you? Oh yeah, I didn't give it the correct return type here. It's going to be a dishes response. Nope, not a repository. A dishes response. We're going to copy that. We're going to paste that, and we're all good. We're clear. Control Option O to remove redundant imports, and now we're clear into the use case. However, I haven't done this repository injection yet, so back to the app module, scroll down to where the repository is for the category. I'm going to yank that, paste that above because I'm a crazy lunatic that likes to put things out of order. Provide dishes repository. It's going to be returning the implementation of a dishes repository when it looks for an iDishes repository interface. So whenever the code asks for an iDishes repository, which it does inside of this use case, it's going to return the implementation dishes repository. Okay. Nice. The use case is all good in the hood. Let's go back up to the ViewModel layer. Now the ViewModel, we're gonna do we're gonna make a stub for now. So get dishes for category. It's gonna take cat name because I'm getting lazy now. Cat name, and it's gonna do something here. Okay. First of all, dishes needs to, what it's actually going to do here, it's going to refer to the use case here. So, of course, we need the use case. Let's do val use case, which is a terrible naming convention. I get dishes use case. There we go. But of course, we haven't provided a way to make an iDishes use case in Hilt. So we scroll back down to here, find where I did the category use case, yank that, paste it under the dishes, under the repository, and then do some name changing. Provide get dishes use case. We'll change this to the implementation is a get dishes use case. Over here, I get dishes use case. So whenever we're asking for an I get dishes use case, it's going to give us the implementation. And now we'll go back to here. You can see that it's connected up because the IDE is so useful now. And we are chained up. We are fully chained up. I'm going to take a second to breathe there. How is everyone doing? We've got 10 people in the chat. How are you doing? Have you got any questions for me? Are you seeing all this nonsense and wondering what the hell's going on? We've got 20 minutes left. I'm really going to try and make the service call and present the data on screen in that time, okay? Oh. Coffee. Water. Put me a joke page number in the chat. Quick. Put page number in the chat. Thank you, Abdul. Page number, quick. Somebody page number me. 1 to 280. Somebody, please. Page number. Page number. Unlock me. Let me go. Let me out. Come on. There it is. 134 by Abdul. Legend saving the day. Here we go. 134. Here's the quick joke. And I'm immediately after I've told the joke, I'm going to get into it. Abdul, category. Hair. Hair. Oh, no. Okay. Okay, fine. This is awful, but here we go. This is the best bet. As soon as I've done this, I'm going to keep coding. Why do hairdressers make good taxi drivers? Because they know all the short shortcuts. Let's do this. Because they know all the shortcuts. Yeah, ARAM. Let's do this. I forgot what I was doing. No. Okay, ViewModel. We're calling a function inside this this function. We need to use the ViewModel scope because we are launching a coroutine. We are launching a coroutine. Those suspend functions that we've got further down in the use case and below, they are suspend functions. Suspend functions can only be called from inside other suspend functions or inside of coroutine scopes. ViewModel is a really is a really useful coroutine scopes that Android view models have. So that's great. We can use that. When the view model gets cleared up, this coroutine will also get cleared up. So we're going to call use case. And remember, we've got the invoke function on this use case here, but it does take something as a parameter. It takes cat name. Nice. This will return to us. I'm just putting this as a placeholder for now. This will return a list of dishes. And that will be, if we just Control Shift click, it's a dishes response. So we can get hold of that now. If I just jump back to our category view model, wherever she is, there she is, and zoom on in, we used the wonderful state variable wrappers that Compose provides for us to pass the data out of this ViewModel scope launch to pass the data out of this coroutine back to the UI, and then the UI would listen to this state variable and update depending. We're going to do exactly the same. It's really not going to be much different at all. So list of dishes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a private mutable state called list of dishes. And that's going to be a mutable state of dishes. Wait, no. I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to have a mutable state of list of meal, I think it was called, right? I should have called it meal screen. Damn, why didn't I look at the API? What a nightmare. It's going to start as a mutable state of empty list. Empty list. Okay. Well, I'm also going to make a public list of dishes. Oh, I should have called it meals. Really bad. That is going to be a state, a read-only state of list of meal. List of meal. There it is. Import. Give it to me. Compose runtime. Yes, please. Which will point at list of dishes. And because I'm a lunatic, I put them the wrong way around. There we go. The private mutable, the private one that can be changed from inside this class, and the public one that will be listened to from outside this class. When the ViewModel scope calls the use case to get the dishes, it's after it's done, it's going to pass it. It's going to list of dishes dot value to change that mutable state one here. You guessed it, to list of dishes, which is a dishes response dot meals. And there we go. We've passed it to the UI. This private mutable one is read by the public one. So all we need to do is access list of dishes in our screen. However, some of you have noticed we've not actually called this function. This function never happens because what we need is some information from the actual dishes screen. And this is where it gets interesting. Dishes screen is a composable, and it has category passed in. We need to somehow pass that category into the view model. First of all, we need a view model. Let's do view model. It is a dishes view model, and we're going to use that really awesome Hilt view model thing, which basically sets up a view model for us and ties it to the life cycle of this composable. It's really, really useful. We don't have to do any of that nonsense. ViewModel factory, ViewModel provide, any of that nonsense anymore. It's so easy now. It's so cool. Really, really useful. Excuse me. So we have our view model, but again, still, we need to call from this view model. We need to call the get dishes for category. Oh, questions come in from Abdul. So he says, oh yeah, okay. I'll read it now, but I'll come back to it in a second because he says, after I've done with it, I've seen people use the sealed class containing loading success states. What is your preferred way to handle this sort of case? Great question. Great question. And I think Dan, was it Dan? Let me just scroll back through the chat for a second. Somebody asked for this earlier, and I want to make sure that I link the two questions. Oh, who was it? Somebody. Oh, Louis about view states. Louis wrote about view states up above. You said in the last stream I spoke about view states. Could you implement it in the Disher app? And now Abdul is writing about view states, loading success errors. Let's absolutely do this. In fact, let's freaking do this now. Have I got time? 15 minutes. Oh my God. Okay. Let's see. Let's see about this. Oh, no. Okay. And the Abdul adds, and also where would you handle exceptions in repository layer or view model layer? That's a great question. So Right now, oh, I'm knocking my microphone, sorry. Right now, this use case, remember, this use case is returning us the suspend function. There is a suspend function all the way up, and the suspend function is actually getting triggered here. So, to answer the first question backwards, I would handle exceptions in the view model. Now, that's what I would do for this app. I would prefer to handle use cases maybe somewhere else. Maybe at the repository layer, literally, because this use case, this service request is a service request. So I would want to handle it as close to the service as I could at the repository layer and then propagate the fact that it failed upwards. Maybe. Alternatively, I think, in the view model is also okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the view state, which we're going to do in a second, here as well. And if it fails, then I can just simply immediately refer to the view state and pass that like you'll see in just a second. So to answer your question, I think me being me, I'm going to do it in the view model scope. I would probably, in pet projects, I'd probably do it in the view model scope as well. But I would say that is simply because my use cases and repositories are nothing but propagators. This repository, this use case does nothing other than, oh yeah, service, pass that guy up. Oh yeah, repository, pass that guy up. If I was doing something like getting the request at the repository layer and then manipulating that data to be something else, then by goodness, I need to have that exception handling right there, because that data will not become, the different kind of data type if something has gone wrong. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So for me, because my use cases and repositories are dumb and they're just propagators, I'm going to do it at the view model layer. But you should really do it at the layer where you're actually interested in that response from whatever it is, a database request or a network request, where you're interested in that response and it could have the chance to be a failed response. Hope that makes sense. In repository layer or view model layer. Oh, yeah, I should have read the rest of it. I might have done. Right, let's go back to... I'm under time pressure now. 15 minutes. We got this. Right. Let me add this. In fact, let me finish writing this exception, right? So right now at the view model layer, and this is another thing, this exception, which coroutines, they propagate exceptions up as well. So I will find out if there's an exception, and it will be caught here. I'm going to just put log d, bk, bl. Who's bl? bl. Here, there's an exception. Terrible spelling. e.message, right? So if there is a problem with any of this call, it will land here, full stop. That's the great thing as well about coroutines. It's so simple. It's going to end up there if something goes wrong. The app will not crash and fail. It will end up there. And right now, I'm just printing a log out. But here is where I would start to use that. The fly's on my keyboard. He's so brave, dude. I haven't got time for you. Get out of here. Okay. This is a nightmare. This is where I would start to use the view state error response here. Okay. So let me do exactly that. Let's do this. Okay. I'm going to start with, so I'm in my view model. I like to do it in the view model, at the top of the view model, outside the class, because this is really here, and the view is really the only place that it's going to get sort of looked at the moment. So I'm going to make a sealed class here called view state. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm burping. Oh, a sealed class is one that can only have other sort of child classes, implementation classes within it. I couldn't do a class A which extends view state here, right? It's kicking off. It's kicking off for another reason, but I shouldn't be able to. Okay, I lied. Forget that. Forget that. The usual way of doing classes. And then with this view state, I can describe certain other classes. So this is essentially like an enum, but on steroids. I can describe data classes that are a view state type and contain data, or I can do objects, which is like the Kotlin singleton. Stop it. Stop auto-completing. I haven't time for you. I haven't time. So what I'll do is, the first one I'll do is, I'm going to have 3 states. Let's just plan this out. I'm going to have loading, on success, like we've got data and it's coming back, and on error, okay? I'm going to go, first of all, with the loading. So object, loading. Nice. In fact, I'm going to do loading like a proper human being. It's going to be view state, and that's it. Easy peasy. So now I have this view state thing, and it can have the state. It can have like this sort of mode, if you like, of loading, right? So, well, in fact, we'll do the next bit now, and we'll come back to finishing this off because I need to do error and success. But what I'll do now, right? At the moment, I pass back a list of dishes. Like I literally pass back the list from the response, but that might not be correct. We might be, the view model should tell the view what's happening, and the view just reacts and renders itself. We need to say, hey view, you are loading. Hey view, something went wrong. You're in error. Hey view, here's your data. Successful, right? So instead of a mutable state of list of dishes, we simply want to do a mutable state of view state. Okay, a mutable state of view state and a state of view state. I'm not going to call it list of dishes anymore. I'm going to call it view state. Oh my goodness, namings, view state. Maybe not the best naming convention. Underscore view state, and it's not going to be a mutable list of empty list anymore. With state, one of the good things is that we have to give it an initializing property. We have to initialize it as something. It can't just be nothing. We could make it a nullable view state, but that's silly because we sort of have a nullable view state, and it's called loading. So my initial view state might be that of view state dot loading. Okay, so when it first loads, this screen loads, we're going to have a view state of loading. It's going to be in the loading state. And over in the view in a minute, what we're going to do is we're going to listen to this view state variable, and we're going to say, hey, is it a loading type? In that case, I need to put a spinner on the screen. Hey, is it a success type? In that case, I need to put data on the screen. Is it an error type? I need to put a big fat red blob on the screen. Something like that, right? So for now, loading. And of course, this here fails because it wants a view state, not a list of dishes. So how do we do that? Change to the end, view state dot, and then this is the bit right here. We're in the bit, oh God, sorry. Oh man, dishes view model. This is the bit where it would be a success response. And this bit down here where the error is, it would be one of those error responses, right? Let's set those up missing parameters. So if it's a sort of mode, a view state mode that has no data, object is the one you want to go for. If it has something like success that will also pass back data, you need to make it a data class or a data class. Where's it gone? There it is. Okay. And I'm going to call it success, right? And success will take something. It's going to take data, and that data will be a list of meal. Nice. I'm going to pass that to there. What's up? What have I done? I forgot that it is a class definition, so it needs a val or var. Nice. So now I've set up the success state. Let me just explain what happens. Remember, if it's not got any data, if we're just saying this is the mode that you're in, loading object is fine because there's no data. We don't need to say, oh, it's loading number 2 or loading his fish, right? If it is something like success or error and it needs data, you can pass data in. You can pass it data. You can say, this is the mode it is, success, and here is the important information that we're interested in. In this case, it's called data. And of course, if you've already guessed it, I'm going to copy and paste that. I'm going to make an error option as well. And I'm going to call, I'm going to keep it as a, the variable type is data. That might actually be bad practice. Let me mull that one over for a second. But I'm going to have a string as the response here. And I'm going to change that. It's going to be error message instead, right? So we have a success type, an error type, and so on. And it doesn't just have to be one package of data. It could also be, you know, multiple packages of data in here if you wanted to as well. And that is why these sealed classes are so brilliant and powerful for these view states. How are we doing for time? 8 minutes. I'm going to get it. Don't worry. Right. When the view model first loads, it says, oh, we're loading, which is correct because it hasn't done any net request yet. It's loading. When it successfully finishes, it's going to be view state, my fingers, view state dot success. Okay, success. And we're going to pass it something. What are we going to pass it? Well, look, we have that list of dishes. Pass it, list of dishes. And it's going to complain at me because, oh yeah, I forgot to change the name of this. It's not list of dishes dot value. It's view state dot value. And what's up with you? Dishes response, of course, because list of dishes is the dishes response. I need to do dot meals. And now we have the success state set up. So Abdul and Louis, I hope this is making sense. Please let me know if I've gone way off topic from your question. Now we have a success response. I'm going to keep that awful log in there, but I'm also going to add the view state dot value is in this case, this is our error response. So error, and this is going to be the error message. And where's our error message? Well, we're getting an exception. So e.message. Okay. Oh, e.message, I think, is a nullable string. So that's great. So I'm going to do an Elvis that says if the left side of this is null, for some reason the message is nullable, then you can take the right side. And I'm going to just put something like unknown error, sad times indeed. I'm going to just format that. There we go. So now we have our view state set up. That's the view state part done. I need to do the UI part of it. I hope that makes sense. We set up a sealed class that basically enables us to have modes of our response. Loading, success, error. Fly! I touched it. Weird. We're going to pass back up to the view a state, and the state will be of our view state. Sorry, it's the word state all over the place. State is a great word. And when we get responses from our network request, we're either going to get a success or an error. But before that, we're going to be loading. Nice. Okay, our view model set up. Let's go back to the view quickly with 5 minutes left to spare. Dish's screen. I'm not going to be able to set up all the view, but I'm going to goddamn put some text on screen. Oh no! The disposable effect. Right. Nightmare. Okay, so we need to, in fact, I'm gonna keep streaming until I've finished the view state stuff and the disposable stuff. So bear with me. I'm sorry if you've run away. First of all, let's start. We have to trigger this function somehow, and we want to trigger this function not from the ViewModel init block, because we need a parameter in there in order to make the request. So the screen, really, the UI has to make a request. It has to go ViewModel.get dishes for category and pass in, well, this category string right here. However, we can put the nullability check on that in a second. However, remember, this is compose. Things can get recomposed and decomposed and me-composed. They can get destroyed and thrown together without us knowing, and at any point, right? So what we need to do is sort of handle that and make sure that this line, we can't just have it like that. This line will get triggered every time, and it'll be a nightmare. So what we need to do is wrap it in something called a side effect. Now, side effects are weird. And when everyone explains side effects in Compose, they always start by saying this. So I want to join in. Side effects. Side effects are... I forgot the word. Side effects are, by definition, are things that happen that you don't really want them to happen. They do it better. I do a terrible job. Basically, actual side effects to your code running. It's a side effect. It's a block. There's a bunch in Compose. There's one like, the one that we're going to use is DisposableEffect, but there's one called launched effect, which basically is a side effect of your code that will only re-trigger this block of code in here whenever a key changes. You sort of give it a value and say, listen to that value. And anytime it changes, it will re-trigger this launched effect. Or there's one that we're going to use that's called DisposableEffect. We don't, the effect here, I think, is the actual block that runs. Yeah, so we're going to use the trailing lambda syntax again for that. And what it does, we got to give it a key as well to listen to. And basically it will run when in fact, let's command click on it because they'll do a much better explanation. A side effect of composition that must run for any unique value or be reversed, blah, blah, blah. A disposables key. Oh, but man, this is really boring. Disposable maybe. No, okay, this is really, really boring. Let me just disposable effect, because they do a really, really nice explanation of a disposable effect that just, it really made sense when I read it. So I was like, right, let me share this with the masses. Disposable effect. Nope, that's still not the bit I'm looking for, is it? Paste. Why? Okay, maybe it is. For side effects that need to be cleaned up after the keys change, or, this is the important bit, if the composable leaves composition. That's the important bit. That is the important bit. This bit, obviously the keys bit, is very similar to launched effect. We're going to give it a key, and whenever that key changes, it will re-trigger the block. But the other bit is what we're interested in. If the composition, the bit of UI that we're writing leaves composition, if it's no longer being composed, then sack off this side effect. Get rid of it. We're not interested in it. So with that knowledge, we know that this disposable effect is going to trigger when it first composes. So we can get our ViewModel. We can do our ViewModel call here, ViewModel.getDishes for category, and pass in the category there, which is nice. Okay, why is it upset? We'll come back to that. Let me give it a key. I think I can give it the key of unit, which again is like void. We never actually interested in it changing. It should happen once, and we're never going to re-trigger it. Obviously, when this screen leaves composition and comes back, this block will run again anyway. Now, what's up here? Disposable effect result. Oh, I'm missing this thing. On dispose, which is a lambda as well. So this disposable effect is special because it's not only like the launched effect, but also gets cleaned up when it leaves composition. But you can also do like a last Hail Mary thing in this on dispose block that should happen when the screen is getting cleared away, which is really nice. In this case, we're not going to do anything. I couldn't care less about that. But right now, all I want to do is this call basically when the screen comes in. This is, if you like, you can think of this as like the on resume for a composable function. I want to do a category.let. No, I'll just do a simple if block. I think if category, because I want to make sure I've null check this thing nightmare. Dot is null or blank. We'll go back to here, bang it. So if it's not null or blank, then we can do the ViewModel call. Otherwise, this screen is going to be real naked. And in fact, the way that we've got it set up at the moment, it will stay in the loading state if for some reason the category is null. How's everyone doing? I appreciate you. Thanks for being here so late. We're almost done. It's 9 o'clock now. I promise I'm going to finish soon. We did the disposable effect in flying time. I hope that made sense. Did the disposable effect explanation make sense? If not, speak now. Otherwise, when the thing comes in, it's going to say, hey, do we have a category? If so, then it's going to make this network request. And of course, when it makes the network request, it's going to affect the view state. So all we need to do now in our compose function, we need to listen to that view state. So here we go. I'm going to do a when ViewModel. Oh, no. One better. Val view state. I'm going to call it view state. Equals. That fly. That fly is here again. Let me just go back here. Excuse me, to the category screen. I'm just yelling at my computer. See here how we did the listening to the state from our other view model. We used the by delegate, so that whole sets and get were handled for us, and we don't need to do dot value all the time. And of course, we put it inside a remember block so that it's cached. Oh, Louis has a question. Every time there is a configuration change rotation, the disposable effect will trigger. Well, yes, because where's this screen gone? There it is. I'm looking right at it. On a configuration change, it's an activity destruction situation. So things get destroyed, the activity gets destroyed, and of course the activity is the place that this set content is happening, which is where the Disher app is happening, which is where our NavHost is happening. So the whole thing will get nuked down. And yes, basically, short, yes. Hang on. I just said yes very boldly, but now I'm questioning myself. Whoa, I said yes so confidently, but now I'm not even sure. Let's find out. I need to know that. That's a great question, Louis. I'm 99% sure on configuration change. Let's just see. Does effect on configuration change? That's exactly not what I wrote. Does disable effect? I mean, this link keeps coming up, so let's just check this out. Oh, disposable effect. Come on. I honestly don't know. It represents use for a non-suspension first time every time it changes. When the composable enters composition and then every time it changes. So yeah, I'm leaning very much towards yes, because it will... Activity will be destroyed and composition will be torn down, and then the set content will trigger again, and it'll be... should we try it? We'll try it as well, I think, in a minute, and just see what happens. But I'm like 90% sure that that's the case. If anyone can find out the information before I do, please let me know. Right, sorry about that. So, view state by remember. We're going to do ViewModel. Nope, come on, ViewModel. Ben, you're running out of time. Dot view state. Now, we are listening. Get this stupid import. Come on. There you go. No, I don't want the extension function. Oh, I hate this stupid import situation. It's such a nightmare. Get value, and I'm just going to get the set value as well in the import. So this happens from time to time. I explained about it in stream 1 as well. But sometimes it doesn't know which flipping import it needs for the remember. So you can always just go up, go to wherever it is, the runtime, and add either a star or get value and set value, depending on what you want. Anyway, now finally, we're going to use the view to read the view state from the view model. So I'm going to use a when statement. When statements are super nice in Kotlin. When view state, which is this thing here, and I can do is a view state dot error, loading, and success. So I can do each one. I can do them explicitly, or I can do like error and success and then else. So let's do it like that. Let's do success, arrow, and block. I'm going to do some compose in here, right? And then is view state dot error and block. And you can see inside of here, I'll have view state dot, and then in this case, I should have data, yeah, because it's smart cast it to be. I don't know what that's talking about. I refuse to accept it. Why are you upset there? I think I've done this wrong. Okay, hang on. Let me just think about this. Is? It should be an is, I think, right? Or is it not an is because it's a sealed class? No, it's an is. I'm not sure why I'm getting a... Success is impossible because view state is a property. Oh, is it because I'm just not doing anything with it? Val A. Smart caster. Impossible. Cast expression. Oh, why should be the is should deal with that? Why am I? Okay, just give me 2 seconds. I'm obviously screwing up here. Obviously screwing up. What about you? View state it dot. We don't have an it reference. This dot. No. When? No. Let's try a when without the sort of like the caveat. Let's do view state dot is like that. I think that's just the wrong way of doing it. That just feels wrong. I need to look this up. But then view state, it should have smart cast because the is a smart cast thing. Error message. Why are you moaning at me? Smart cast to wait a minute. Okay. If anyone in the chat can help me out, my brain has turned to smush. Let me just check a when statement in my previous. I can't believe this. This is a nightmare. This is what happens when you code for real in real life. Sorry, I'm just going to check on some code over here because I'm losing my marbles. When is That's what I did, bro. Why is it complaining? I'm obviously doing something stupid. What? Okay. Listen to me. Are you listening? Code? I swear to God, you start working. Why aren't you working? If it is of type blur, right? And it is and it is because it's a right? Oh, maybe it just, if I put an else, let's see what happens. Oh my God. Oh yeah, okay. That's all right. That I can fix that. Jesus. Right. Why am I okay, well, let's just keep moving and see if it becomes apparent. Let's just put a text on screen for if it's success. Putting success, and we'll do well, that's the problem, isn't it? View state dot data. One second. I'm just going to Google it. Android sealed class view state when. I can't believe this is happening. I'm truly sorry. This is really silly. This is like stuff I do all the time. I don't know. Like there's the enum version. There's the data class version. Show me the when. Oh, of course you don't have the when. What a nightmare. Handle view, how to not use sealed classes in live data. I've probably lost everyone now. I'm so sorry. This is amateur hour over here. When state is duh. When state is duh. Hang on a minute. Don't do this to me. Don't you do this to me. Yeah, of course it's fine. Am I using that wrong? State dot. When state? No. Okay, fine. Fine. Something to do with the fancy. Are you? Oh, of course, yeah. Dot value. Are you high? Obviously. Dot value. And now you're going to red again. Ah! What? Is this a weird import thing? Because if it is, I'm going to freak out. What does it want me to do? I'm not casting it there. It should be smart cast inside the when. I guarantee it should be smart cast inside the when. Right here. Right here, baby. Da-da-da. When is and I haven't done anything different there. Let's just look for the error. Kotlin sealed class when smart cast. What have I done wrong here? Sealed class when okay, hang on. No, that's passing it in smooth. I'm telling you, this is right, and I refuse. I'm not going to get defeated by this code. I'm just going to keep moving, and if it tells me off, it can. Maybe it runs. Oh my god, does it still run? And it's like a warning. It looks like an error to me. Yeah, there's an error. Smart cast to view state.view impossible because view state is a property that has an open or custom getter. Shoot me. This is the life of a... I've gone 10 minutes over the thing as well. I'm very upset right now. Very upset. Right. Mutable there. Mutable. No. Is this because it is... I don't think this is the case. This feels weird. This feels weird. Get out of here. Oh, you're pissed off as well. Criminy. What up with you? Yeah, of course it's private. Idiot. Kill me. Oh my god, I'm sorry. That should work, and I refuse to accept otherwise. I'm putting my foot down. Not this one with the privates. That was dumb, but let's think about this. Why is that stuffed? Maybe it's the way I set up the view state. I thought I set it up correctly. Let's go back to that other thingy. New way to handle that. Sealed class. No, show me the sealed class. Oh, I just missed it. There, right? So var data blah, 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 data class da, da, da. Right, fine. Show me where you use state API. Oh, don't do this. Don't do this to me. State. Why can't I search state API? Yo, anyone in the chat, hook a brother up. Help me out here. State API, state API. I do that. When it is, I'm not doing a function inside of that. State API, state API. Yeah, state API is loading to do. This is bananas. This is... Do I have to cast it? I thought Kotlin's casting system was better than this inside the when. I'm going to cast it, and I'm going to feel like an idiot. Fine. I'm sick of it. This is gross. This is gross. I need to chill out. I've got too Larry. Fine. I thought Kotlin's smart casting system was better than that. I think I'm probably using it wrong. Can you observe a state? Observe a state. Observe a state is for live data. This is a state variable. So good question, Abdul. But if it was live data down in the ViewModel layer, it's just because of this casting system. It should have. I assumed that if we said, oh yeah, if view state is a type of success, then it's already cast to success type. But for some reason, I'm having to do it like a lunatic. Hey ho, there you go. Let's just take this for now. Let's just stick this in the text. I'm losing the will to live here, so we'll just stick that in there. So before, even though the when statement was casting it here, if that was an enum, it would have worked. Anyway, I'll come back and remull that one over. Anyway, right. So for what's happened here, it was just a casting issue. I thought Kotlin was better than this, and I'm sure it is. I think I'm just using it wrong, but it wasn't casting the view state to be a success type at that point. Something was going wrong there. So now I've done that properly. I'm going to go in here, and now it's not an error over here on the error one. It's casting to an error, and it's error message, right? I'm going to do error. Yeah, error message, right? Loading, we're going to just have a text. This is terrible UI, but it doesn't matter because I'm running out of time. Loading. Okay, so we have our view model, which passes state. We have loading, success, and error. If it loads, it's just going to say loading on screen. If it's successful, it'll success, and it'll show the data on screen, and same with the other thing. I've forgotten what's happening. The disposable effect calls it. So as soon as we'll call the ViewModel function, and we will then look at the state straight away. So immediately we should see loading, and then very quickly afterwards we should see error or success. Let's have a look. Where's the phone? Where's the phone? Get over here. I hope you can see this on the screen. Oh, no. What's happened here? Oh yeah, it needs a ViewModel. I passed it a ViewModel. It's because I've used the wrong, so this should be category equals category string. Okay, back over here. We are going to start at the category screen. We've got 5. I've lost so many people from that. I'm so sorry. That was so rough. Right, doesn't matter. Beef. I'm going to click beef. We'll see loading. Oh my goodness gracious me. I had other things on that screen, didn't I? The dishes screen had some text here. Let me get rid of this text. So now we should just have the one text. Let me rerun that again. But you can see the data came through, which is nice. So let's try that again. Beef. Keep an eye on this top left of the screen. You should see the word loading, first of all. Loading. And then success. Huzzah. Did you see that? Let me go back. Let's go to chicken. Loading. Success. And then we got all the data here, which I have yet to put into a usable format. But yes, that is the view state that being passed as an actual sort of state, the loading, the error, the success. I have no idea. Usually that works with the smart cast there. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I feel very, very silly, to be honest. I'm going to look into that, and maybe next stream I'll correct it. But yeah, there was something wrong with the casting. It was really being weird. Yeah, that was so strange. Anyway, but after I forcefully cast it to be a success, even though it was already going to be a success, no, okay. Anyway, doesn't matter. As soon as I forcefully cast it, then it started to work. Does that make sense, folks? And at that point, obviously, loading, we can do something much different here. We can do like a spinner or whatever when it's loading, animate between it. When it's an error, put a big red blob on the screen with our message that's being passed from the view state. And obviously, the data, next stream, will actually put those onto the screen again. But it's going to be very, very similar to the category screen, where we have a lazy column of items that will be an individual meal item, and if you click on it, it'll navigate us to the third screen, which again I never got to. Right, let's just check these chats. Patrice, maybe smart casting is not working correctly in this case because both of the symbols are named view state, and the only difference is that hot damn, let's try that. That's a great let's just call this state then for now. State maybe you're right. I'm not sure. Let's see. State data. Nah, it's still upset because it wants... is impossible because state is a property that has an open or custom getter. Oh, Patrice, I got really excited. But yeah, it wasn't that, unfortunately. There's something about my syntax here that I've absolutely screwed up, and it's just annoying the hell out of me. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for the suggestion though. But for now we've got something. But I use this sort of stuff all the time. I should just check one of the code bases, shouldn't I? But they all say when is. Hang on a second. But that's coming back as a view state already, so it shouldn't be that stupid that it's as view state. right? So that's redundant. But then does this view state data view state dot data? Oh no, yeah, of course, because that's so stupid. Is as yeah, it's a check. It's like it's not a. Anyway, that'll do. Sod it. We've had enough. We've had quite enough. Oh, please, can you? So here's another one. Please, can you please options plus enter on view state to check if it's nullable or something? Let's have a look. Which view state? This one. So sealed class. I mean, show type explicitly. Oh yeah, let's have a look. So view state here. It is view state. That one. Enter. View state. Non-nullable view state. I mean, should type explicitly. So yeah, that view state over here is, let's just check what that one is. View state. I wonder if it's because I'm doing something fancy. No, the one before by keyword, before by keyword. Here, this one, yeah. So view state, yeah. A view state, a full-on capital V view state. This is, okay. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna figure it out whilst I'm on stream. There's no reason not to. You might as well. If you're interested, obviously you'll stay around. So let's find out. Kotlin sealed class when is not working. Oh, yay. Problems with sealed class hierarchies in Kotlin. Nope. No. Sealed classes. Here. Have you got a when example in this? That'd be amazing if you've got a when example. When is That's what I'm doing. Is I mean, obviously this is like, yeah, it's redundant. It's just explicit. Oh man, am I doing something just terribly wrong? I bet someone's gonna come along and be like, "Yo, what the hell were you thinking?" It's just like an idiot move or something like that. Here we go. Nope. Let's check one more thing. I'll check something on this screen over here. Oi. How's everyone doing, by the way? We should have a joke soon because this is killing us, isn't it? Well, it's killing me. You win some, you lose some. Last stream I thought went really, really well. And this one, I'm just a little bit like, Ben, do you even code, my bro? Do you even code? So there's that option. Oh, no. Wait. No, don't do this to me. Seriously? Oh, my God. I'm just trying something. Don't get excited. It's going to be that, isn't it? It's going to be that. I'm going to shoot myself. No, see? ViewState.error is impossible because ViewState is a property that has an open or custom getter. It doesn't, but I mean, remember probably gives it. Oh no! Mutable. This is not happening. Mutable state. I don't think it's this, and I'm gonna. It's mutable state of, Ben. Mutable state of. My whole mind is panicking because it's just like this is like baby level stuff, but not baby level stuff. But hey ho. Right now, that makes no sense because I've just wrapped it in another layer of itself, so we don't need that. Let's try view state dot value is. No, now I'm just getting ridiculous. That works. I know it works. Oh, mate. Folks in the chat, folks on the channel, this is what it looks like when you flop entirely. View state, wait, I haven't got another view state somewhere, have I? Okay, well, I'll keep digging. Let me keep digging. When expressions expect sealed classes in the common code of the multi-platform project requires an else block. See, I have an else block. Do you know what? Let's just try view. No. I know that an else block works with Kotlin and when. Let's just see. When are you up to? When view state. Yeah. Okay. When view state. This has been a proper roller coaster. I feel you, Abdul. I feel you. This is genuinely perplexing to me because that should work, but I feel like I've missed one something somewhere. I've missed one something somewhere, and it's killing me. This remember must be giving it a funky old getter. So let's kill that. Let's link the two. Let's not even use that. Let's just use this here. No. I want to keep it as a view state just for my own sanity. Right? So view state is success. What's up with you now? Oh yeah, of course, because it's dot value. Dot value. Now. View state dot. Nope. View state dot value dot data. What? It's a read only. Of course it's a read. Oh, I'd give up. No, I'm not giving up. I'm going to find the answer, but this is a roller coaster. I'm sorry. You should totally all go to bed, relax, or something other than watch me being an idiot. Sealed classes inside other sealed classes can't be compiled. Shut up. Not my problem. Sealed classes in Kotlin. Let's have a look at this and just immediately look for the when clause. Am I doing something wrong? Can somebody see? When is the, right? Is the problem. Is the problem. Is the problem. As. I'm seeing an example on my screen right now, and it's obnoxious. It's just ridiculous. I guess I have to cast it like that. It's really upsetting. Anyway, okay, forget it. Sod it. I'm over this. I'm over this. Let's get the energy back up for the end of the stream. Right. Let's have a little recap because it does work. It's just being cheeky. I'm going to come back and next stream I'm going to be explaining why I had to do that extra cast. Look, it's even complaining. This cast can never succeed. Are you joking? Of course it can. Kill me. Remove braces in the wet. What? No. Okay, no, that's fine. Yeah, wait. Just one more thing. I'm getting obsessive. I'm becoming like, the Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm just like, okay, things are getting crazy. It's got something to do with the fact that I'm like linking it. Anyway, okay, right. I'm genuinely stopping now. I promise. I'm genuinely stopping. Let's do a recap. What did we do today? We added the extra screen. Although we didn't even make the UI for the screen, we did the view state for it, which of course works. It's just this weird casting issue that isn't even an issue. It's so stupid because I use this stuff every single day. Anyway, we used a disposable effect that gets cleared up when this composable gets cleared away from composition. Of course, we set up the view model and the repository, the use case, all the way down to the service layer. We had some jokes. We had some fun. Can somebody help me out and just say one more page number for this joke book so we can end on a high note? One more page number from 1 to 280 if you're still with me. All you wonderful people that made it to the end. Emma, maybe Louis, Abdul, Patrice. I appreciate you being here. Absolutely greatly. And yes, I'm donezo. Abdul 108, 120 from Samira. Let's have a look at both of those. So let's do both of them. We got all the time in the world, and then I'm gonna go because I'm gonna have a drink. We got 3 of them. Nala as well. Hello everybody. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you greatly. I apologize for that terrible ending with the casting issue. I am gonna figure that out. If anyone else figures it out, please leave a comment below. Here we go. 3 jokes coming up in fast succession. 108. Why did the jelly wobble? Because it saw the milkshake. Abdul, that was 108 for you. 120, Samira, 120. I feel like my credibility has gone after all that casting issue. I feel, yeah, really bad. Okay. There was a young man. Oh, it's another limerick one. There was a young man from Leeds who swallowed a packet of seeds. Within just 1 hour, his nose was a flower and his hair was a riot of weeds. A riot of weeds. Wonderful. And 121 to finish. Nala, literally just have to look over here. Oh, they're huge. This is a huge joke. All right, this will be the last one. It's a big joke to finish on. It's like a paragraph. Bear with me. Here we go. Let's get a nice zoom in, get comfortable. Last joke of the day, and then we'll bugger off. Ask your questions as well. Even though I'm an idiot, I can't answer them, apparently. I'm smart cast issues with Kotlin. Crazy. A man releases a genie from a bottle and is granted 3 wishes. What I'd like, he announces after a moment's thought, is a bottle of beer that will never be empty. There is a flash, and a bottle of beer appears in his hand. He drinks from it and finds to his delight that it remains just as full as he has drunk, just as full after he has drunk it was when it started. What would you like for your other wishes? Asks the genie. The man grins. The man grins. The man grins. I'll have 2 more of those. That one's pretty good, actually. I like that one. Proper anti-joke. Ladies and gentlemen of the stream, thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience towards the end. I hope the first 2 hours... Oh, it's 2.5 hours again. I hope the first 2 hours were at least educational, helpful, and this whole casting issue, I'll figure it out. I'll write something. I'm going to stay live for 10 minutes, but I'm going to sort of dip away so I can grab a drink. But if you have questions, pop them in the chat. Otherwise, let me know. Give me some feedback. Let me know how the session was, and I'd love to see you again. There is obviously going to be a stream session 3 now because I couldn't finish that in time. We'll get in the 3rd session the final screen done, and we'll get this casting issue sorted. But hopefully now you've seen all of at least the components that build to make, one screen and NavHost to navigate between them, passing data between composables in NavHosts, running disposable effects to trigger ViewModel functions on sort of like resume, if you like, and so on. But yeah, there we go. I hope that was exciting. I hope that was wonderful. Love you all. Thank you for being here. Nala, Dan, you could get the value before the when. You should get the value before the when. Oh, God, don't make me go back here. Hang on. 1 minute. 1 minute. I'm jumping back to the screen. Dan has just written, you should get the value before the when. You should get the value before the when. One is the SmartCast issue, and the second one was the rocket hat. Oh, yeah, the fast blow joke. I agree. That fast blow joke, I don't even remember it. Let me just really quickly, viewModel.viewState, right? We've got viewState, okay? So I'm going to just hold it in like ABC, right? I'm going to hold it in ABC, viewState, right? Does that make a difference? Sorry, what am I doing? Oh my God. That worked. Dan! Dan, you're my hero. Everybody, can we give a little round of applause to Dan Kojakar in the chat? I haven't a goddamn clue what happened there. So, I'm literally storing it in a different variable. Literally. I'm assuming it's because of this remember like caching system. The getter and setter must be a little bit funky, and that's why it was complaining. So literally saving an instance of the variable, saving an instance of it, solves the problem. I am disgusted and entirely happy. Let me just stick that in there, right? Let me just stick that in there. Because then that's... What's up with you, ABC? Inline the variable. Yeah. Oh! See, it looks like Kotlin's even confused. Okay. Amazing. Let me just read the chat. A lot of shocked faces. Dan, yeah. Well done, Dan. Bravo, Dan. Happy ending it is. The issue is because the class can mutate after the check. Oh, yeah. That's bananas. So, Dan, thank you for saving my ass there. I feel like I use this all the time. There's another way of doing this, isn't there? Like I can just do something like that without having to declare another variable. But what is it? What is it? What is it? Anyway, that'll do. I've moved it as part of the when, so we declare the ABC as like a variable in line with the when. But look, even Kotlin's like, oh yeah, do you want to inline this variable? Yeah, and then it immediately falls over. Okay, weird. I'm now that Dan's saying that, this looks somewhat familiar to me inside of a when, but I feel like there's a slightly different syntax that I've used before. Something maybe like, no, that's dumb. Anyway, done. Dan, legend. Thank you for your help. Thank you all for being here. That ends at least the stream on a nice note. Let me jump back to my ugly mug. thank you all for being here. And I appreciate your time. As always, you've been wonderful. I'm going to stick around for questions if you want to ask me anything, although it's probably better just to ask Dan. Dan, thank you. Hero of the stream. Thank you to everyone for getting involved. Nala, Patrice, Louis, Dan, obviously, Abdul. Thank you for all your awesome questions, your joke pages, and I appreciate it greatly. I'll see you in stream part 3 at some point soon. I'm going to go away and investigate the hell out of this when situation. But hey, all I have is excuses, and that's all I need. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Ben Kadel. Thank you so much. Feel free to check out some of my other videos. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to. You don't have to. It's not a problem. Just do you. Just enjoy life. Maybe give it a like. Maybe subscribe. If not, leave a joke in the chat. Ask me some questions. And I will see your beautiful faces next time. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. See you next time.